That's right. It's that season. Tis the season, folks. Tis the season to be gaming. And I got to be honest with you, it's going to be a great show. Amazing group of people already here. We got a great panel that you see that's already assembled here, as well as some great guests that are going to be joining us as the show progresses. Great to see some of the Mooch Maniac family members here. DC Gaming's here. ArchWarAngel. I see the great Zuby Tech is here. Zuby, great to have you here. I know it's late over there in the UK, but just wonderful to have the great Zuby Tech here. Mary Wilcox is here. Amanda Penderson. I always say it wrong. I always say Penderson. It's not Amanda Penderson. I'm sure I got it wrong. I apologize. Appreciate Amanda being here. Pemberton. There it is. Thank you. SlaynChilean. Awesome. Just a great group of folks here. Guys, as you're all shuffling in, do me a favor, will you please? Hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm thoroughly impressed. Shout out to Matty Beast. Great to have Matty Beast here. That's an old school Mooch Maniac family member right there. As we kind of get going here, I just want to say thanks to everybody. We hit 11,000 subscribers on YouTube just a short time ago. Here we are. We're already 11.1. May not sound like a lot. It means a lot to me. They got another 100 people that joined us in a very short period of time. Ghost of New Orleans says, who's yelling? This guy's yelling. It was funny. I was reading some of the comments. By the way, please, guys, every show, feel free to comment below after the show. It means a lot to the channel. Really, comments are great because what they do is they actually get more people. I guess it's the YouTube algorithm. It gets more people to kind of siphon through. So feel free to always comment. One guy's like, Mooch yells. This guy's yelling a lot. And I thought, I'm thinking maybe this guy was new to the channel. He might have been new to here. I don't know. Of course I'm yelling. It's what we do. I also grew up in New York radio, man. In New York radio, good luck listening to anything in the world that's on the radio in New York, and they're not yelling at you. Try to listen to anything at all that's Mets, Yankees, Giants, Jets related. That's not yelling. Knicks basketball, Rangers hockey. Good luck. Good luck. That's just how we grew up. Let me just say this much first and foremost. Right above that great description there of tonight's show, you'll see the join button. That join button is so many great people, including the great Sir X Man who just sent one. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays to you too as well. Guys, it's going to be a great holiday edition, and it means the world to me for every individual that's joined the channel. It really, really does. Not only that, it's about giving back here, and we're going to go ahead and give some stuff back to the community as well as we kind of go through this next week. I have been off. I've been telling you guys I was going to do a video. I have a video coming out. I'll have it hopefully up and launched. I've already written everything, so it's all kind of done. I'm just going to kind of do some editing over the weekend. Of course, the holidays here, but I'll have a video out on Monday. And I've also got a new mixer that I picked up over the holiday as well that I'll be setting up, hopefully for even more clarity so that the sound is that much more precise. But these fine folks, the great Mooch Maniac family members, make a lot of this stuff all happen for the channel. So let me just thank each one of these guys one by one, especially with the holiday coming up. The great Sir X Man, JudaZuk, WoolleyGamer, Frostbite Slash, MumbleRanting Gaming, Tyson Web 509, TrueWiddy, Big Chuck 777, Alphonso Carter, BRAP, who you guys might know is Santa BRAP tonight. We'll see what happens. Jamie, Damion, the great Jimmy Harrison, who said he's out with his family, but he still has one earbud in listening to the show. The great Jimmy Harrison, thank you so much. Andy Hart, DadOfWar, Isaac Gentry, ArchWarAngel, Red Hood 420, who you're going to hear from tonight as well. I'm very excited. We got him for the whole 2 hours. Hustle and Motivate, Hamsolo05 Gaming, shout out to Ham, Rob Jones, and our Mooch Maniacs, our major Mooch Maniacs, pardon me. Scoleri Brothers, that's the whole Who Are You 5. So shout out to Scoleri Brothers. Smokes 901. Julian Johnson, a.k.a. JuJu, my buddy from Twitter. Great gaming brother of mine. Shout out to Julian. Thanks so much. DC Gaming, Mikko, SlaynChilean, Gaming with Persona, and Jay Barry. Shout out to both of them. They do What's Up PlayStation. You guys know. Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I believe they're done for the year. They're taking next 2 weekends off. Rightfully so. Well-deserved. Outstanding show they do on Saturday mornings. Domino Zero, Supreme Samurai, your boy Roy, Tactical Gamer, Donnell Brown, that guy Smitty, 4-star Journal, Brian B, a.k.a. Delirium Blades, and our VIP Mooch Maniacs, one of our newest ones, Dre Watson, a.k.a. D-WAT. Shout out to D-WAT, Shadow Assassin, Strictly is always probably listening to the replay of Crossfire because he's always gaming. Shout out to Strictly Gaming, the Wise Old Gamer, and our honorable mentions. We miss you guys. Come home. You're out there without food, water, or toilet. Percolator 9000, Marty Bison, Fake Man, Bear Pig, Ashish Rana, and Forkboy Gaming. And our forever Mooch Maniacs. Let's not forget these folks, especially around the holidays. For them and their families, we miss them very much. the great long shot 316, and the forever Mooch Maniac Optimus Code. Guys, let me say this much. Just want to say thanks. Shout out to Hustle and Motivate. He says, what's good, y'all? Hustle, we miss you on the show, buddy. You know you're always welcome. Open door invitation at all times. The great Hustle and Motivate's here with us. Shout out to Dank Nate, too. See all you guys saying happy holidays. Means a lot, guys. Please tweet it out. Let people know we're live. And with that being said, let me go ahead and introduce to you guys. You guys know him as Santa BRAP tonight, but he's Basement Radio Arcade Podcast not only on Wednesday nights. I'm going to give him a plug. He's also doing Thursdays. He might even do Christmas. BRAP, welcome to the show, buddy. And you've been extremely busy bringing FTC news to gamers on a daily basis.
Well, I don't know about doing a show on Christmas, but it's pretty funny, man. I might. I might do it. You never know. There could be a BRAP rant on Christmas Day.
It's great. It'll be music to our ears, buddy.
Yeah, but no, great to be here, man. I'm actually glad you did the show. I was like, because I think I messaged you earlier in the week. I was like, are you doing the show, Mooch? Like, what's? So I was like, I need a show. I need a happy hour. This is my happy hour.
I'm kind of glad you brought it up, though, BRAP. You guys know, everyone that's in the chat or listening later, you guys know that I generally will pick either the Friday of Christmas or the Friday before New Year's to take off, right? And, BRAP wrote me, and it got me thinking, because, BRAP, remember I said to you, as of now, but things could change, right? You don't know what's going to happen with scheduling around the holidays. But I'm sitting here, and I said, I got caught up with, getting gifts for the family, things like that. So I said, I have time. Christmas Eve is really the big event. That's tomorrow. I said, let's do a show. There's definitely plenty to talk about. So shout out to you, BRAP, for the encouragement as well. And we're going to do one next week. I'm planning next week, too. Again, unless something happens and you guys would know, I'll tweet it out well in advance. I'm planning to do a show next Friday, too, because, New Year's Eve is a thing, but New Year's Eve is just a day. It's just a day. So we're going to talk gaming. We're going to talk news. Speaking of talking gaming and news, I couldn't do these topics tonight without the great J-Dub City. Jay, it's been an absolute whirlwind for you since you came back to Twitter and YouTube. I noticed that you've been on the great Jez 7780s show, Grinding My Gear House. I know that you've been doing a couple other spots. And, whenever we get topics like we're going to discuss tonight, I really enjoy having you on here because that was one of the things when I got a chance to actually hang out with you and game with you years ago. I found out, a lot of people don't know Jay. They just don't know Jay. And I think more people need to know the Jay that I've met through gaming and hanging out through YouTube is that you're level-headed, buddy. I know that you troll and have fun, but listen, that's what it's all about. It's all about, Elon Musk has fun on Twitter. Everybody's having fun on Twitter, right? So why can't you? So Jay, welcome to the show tonight, buddy, and I'm really excited to get your input on tonight's topics.
Definitely, man. Always, glad to be here with everybody and the great panel and getting ready for Christmas. We got a lot of topics to talk about. You know me, man. I'm unfiltered when it comes to this stuff. So you're definitely going to hear my opinion on it.
That's what I'm hoping for tonight. Believe me, I'm counting on it, to be honest with you, Jay. And without further ado, the great Red Hood 420's with us. Shout out, by the way, I want to say shout out to Red for being here tonight. Also, shout out to the great BitCloud Gaming. You guys know Bit. These guys co-host along with like Blaze 4K and a couple others, I believe. Hunter's on the show. These guys do a phenomenal show over at RGT that usually is on Fridays at 5 p.m. They took this week off, so I was able to actually steal. I tried to get BitCloud too. Shout out to Bit. He's enjoying some time with the family. But Red, I was able to get you for the whole 2 hours, and that really excites me, dude, because I know that you're so opinionistic on things. I got to say, I watch you on Twitch. I watch you on RGT. I'm pretty much there with you 95% of the way, buddy. None of us are 100%. So I got to say, great to have you here for the full show. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a busy month, but hopefully everyone's going to have a fantastic weekend when it comes to Christmas and the holiday season. And it's a great panel, and I can't wait to discuss some topics. Might get spicy, like I always say, but that's the great aspect of Crossfire. So
we'll see just how spicy we can get it, Red, this close to the holidays. I'm gonna go ahead and start this off. I'm gonna throw a softball, a real kind of easy meatball for Jay to hit out of the park. Jay, I just want to kind of start off the show like this, okay? It's Christmas. I'm not going to go into the serious topics. I'm going to wait for a couple other panel members to show up to get to the meat and potatoes. I'm going to ask you a real quick, fun question as every holiday end of the year comes. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, you own them both. What is it that I put hopes and dreams into the topic, but let's forget those words. What are your desires and concerns for both PlayStation and Xbox as we go into 2023 and leave 2022? And let's be honest, Jay, 2022 ended differently than we thought January of 2022 was going to predict. So
absolutely.
Right? So it's fair for you to have some concerns going into 23.
Well, let me give you. I'll start with PlayStation first. I'm gonna give you my take on that. I think they had a phenomenal 2022. They had some stumbles, especially dealing with just being able to get PS5s into people's hand. I mean, that thing was kind of like a unicorn. If you got your hand on a PS5, these things were going for $1,500 at one point in time. Now they're out in the wild. It seems like Sony finally got their flow with the manufacturers of the chips and stuff. It looks like we have a redesign coming so they can get even more systems into the hands of customers. And so that I think they finally fixed that. They started off pretty good with the PlayStation Plus offering, giving people, their choices of that stuff. So there's some back compat stuff there if for those who want it. Great price, right? You get over 1,000 games for X amount of bucks. So I think they're tackling that. That's kind of like the big stuff that they tackled. They didn't fumble. They had variety of games. Clearly they had the big games, right? They had like 4 or 5 GOATY contenders to go with, and that always, gets everyone blood boiling and moving forth and excited. I think they kind of stumbled with a lot of the shows. A lot of people predicted that they would have a little bit more state of plays and maybe a big E3 type event, and that just didn't come to fruition. I don't know why, but at the end of the day, my thought on it is, sure, I'd like to have a show, but I'd rather have the games, and I can't be mad at it for that. They delivered on the games. There's other people that they gave you a bunch of shows but no games. So, choose your poison. Which one would you rather you have, the games or the shows? So it looks like, we'll see what they do with that as far as the state of plays and the big events and stuff like that. We're going to see how they're going to remedy that in 2023. And I guess some of my concerns, right? One thing I like that they started doing, they started focusing on more multiplayer centric games. They bought some studios, they got some talent, they partnered with a ton of people, they got Bungie on board to help them with the monetization and stuff like that. So my concern with that is I'm glad that they're finally starting to tackle the multiplayer portion of their division, right? Giving a ton of multiplayer services, games, and stuff like that.
We've been asking for that, Jay, right? So why aren't now we're getting it?
Yeah. Now here's my concerns. I'm one of those people. I don't think you can just only be good at one thing. I think you got to be able to do more than just chew. You got to be able to walk and chew at the same time. You just can't say no. We're just going to stick with the single player games. No, you're gonna have to do both. And so they nailed down the single player story driven games. That's their motto. That's what they do, and they do it great. Now I want to see, the concern with going forward on that is, for example, let's say when we get the Last of Us factions,
yes,
I believe it's going to be a good game. I believe it's going to be great, but will the state of multiplayer gaming in 2022 and 2023, the industry is flooded with the Apex Legends and the Fortnites of the world and a million other shooters, a million other multiplayer games. Will their games be able to stand out and take people away from those Apex Legends and the Fortnites and all the other games, right? Or will it just be another game that you can play if you want to? Because there can be fatigue, especially from myself.
Jay, I think you pose a very good question. And by the way, Red and BRAP, since Jay's actually kind of throwing out some great questions, feel free to answer as well how you feel about it. But I got to be honest with you, Jay, unless you go the games as a service route, and I don't mean that as in, I guess I do mean it in the Apex or Warzone level of enthusiasm, the way that you have streamers streaming it daily, the way that you have viewers watching those streamers. If you just end up having like a let's put it this way, Halo Infinite multiplayer or a Gears multiplayer, or you just have something like that, I don't think that's enough in this generation to make it. I don't think that's enough. And I would hope that Sony and these people that they have, because think about it, Jay, a lot of the people that they've recruited are former Infinity Ward folks, or are former
Call of Duty
Apex,
or
Apex developers.
Destiny,
right? So so you know what I mean? Destiny has been the one game that's not a battle royale that's survived the long haul, right? There's not many other games that have done that on console anyway. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Red, what do you think? What's your take on that? Because Jay really did pose a great question, and that is a serious concern.
Yeah. Like I said, like the multiplayer genre has very much changed, right? Going from the 360 generation to the PS4 generation, Xbox One, because it's been predominantly, actually dominated just for the battle royale. And Rainbow Six Siege, I would also say that, and Valorant, like a lot of like models are changing, and also a lot of models are changing for single player games, and a lot of people don't talk about it. And it comes with Activision Blizzard with their game Diablo 4, and a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot of monetization in that game. Yes. And they even have battle passes. A battle pass in a single player game is insane to me, and you're starting to see that creep into multiplayer and single player. Now the key thing is like a balance between the two. When it comes to multiplayer, you got to have something that's really addictive to like have your audience coming back for more. And that's a problem what happened with Halo Infinite. But like they had like the big advertisements from streamers, right? Because it's a double-edged sword. It could very much go great for you, but if the content's not there, it's going to show in the cracks, and then they don't want to do it. And that's why you see like a huge drop off in numbers. And you got to make sure to have a lot of content in that launch. And Factions has to do that, and Haven Studios game has to do that too. And it's like it's really tough to get into that market. Ubisoft's tried it with a couple of their games, and they failed. And it's really hard. I don't know what that best model is to go towards. And I just found it interesting recently in terms of the news where we heard a new Bungie director is like a former like Valorant employee. I think like a director of Valorant. So they might be changing that model too with Destiny. So it's like a lot of things to kind of take into account and see how PlayStation navigates like the waters for like, what to do.
Yeah, no, you make a very good point, and I'll tell you that is interesting. But I think because Factions will probably be PlayStation 5 PC day one, Factions may have the ability to get that long run on Twitch and YouTube gaming to get people to watch it day in day out. They're gonna have to do something that's not battle royale, but maybe something that keeps luring people in. And listen, we're not developers on this panel, but we certainly know that there needs to be some kind of a new niche type of game out there that we can figure out what is going to get people to play. Because, I mean, honestly, you guys know I love Warzone, and you'll see me play some of it in the play that's going to be on screen shortly. I love it, but even myself, someone that really, really digs it, I'm not going to lie to you guys, it is getting a little long in the tooth, right, Jay? I mean, it's starting to show itself its age at this point. And even with it being Warzone 2 that just came out a month and change ago, it's still it's Warzone, and don't get me wrong.
It's Warzone, And then again, that fatigue sets in. Mooch fatigue is a thing, and that's why I mention it. I mean, we've been playing Warzone now for 2-3 years. You've been seeing streamers day in and day out. What's going to be that new? And that's what Sony's going to have to say. Are we going to be that new, or are we just going to fall into the same mold? People play it for a couple of weeks and they're going to go back to their Warzone. They're going to go back to their, Apex Legends, Valorant, or whatever. And it's I don't know. It's going to take something strong to pull people away. And I know they did that with the multiverses. Multiverses came out, everyone was on it and jumped, and then I'm starting to see the same guys that kind of jumped on it. They're kind of moving back to their traditional way of whether it's COD, Valorant, or Super Smash Brothers or whatever.
Yo, shout out to Dreamwalker in the chat. Valorant director is game director on the new PvP first game at Bungie. It's not Destiny. Dreamwalker, thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Also, so it might be something similar to like Valorant then.
Correct. Correct. I
In
mean, I
terms
think
of a
you're
shooter.
you're definitely gonna see a splash of that in the recipe for sure. Shout out to Twisted. I'm trying to figure out Twisted and Faded. He says, it's been a minute. Hope everyone on the panel and in the chat are having a decent holiday season. Hashtag, it's just a day. 100%. Shout out to Twisted and Faded. Guys, the super chat's working. It is a Christmas miracle. Thank you so much. I appreciate that super chat, guys. Yeah, I don't know, BRAP, what do you think? I mean, not only with Jace, and like I really like how we're kind of going through this because PlayStation 5, Jay, I'll say this much. This much. I have my concerns, as you do, with what they're going to throw at us, in the multiplayer front. I think they've got single player, and I saw one people try to use this as a negative, and I didn't quite understand it. They're like, well, Mooch, you have to understand. The only thing that we're seeing from PlayStation next year is Spider-Man 2 from their first party. Everything else is a third-party deal. Frankly, if you tell me,
who cares?
I was just gonna say, if you tell me I can only play a game next year on one console, well, that's the console I'm playing it on, and for me, it's an exclusive. That's it. Yeah. You know, I mean, because we're talking about there's going to be, of course, Final Fantasy 16, and I believe there's another one that's going to be Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, and maybe Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for winter.
And Rebirth for winter, which could be end of next year. I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's potential because I was thinking it could go from January to February of 2024.
Right.
But they also said winter of this year for Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core, and it came out in December.
Correct.
So that's
correct.
Potentially, it could be December.
Right, but when they do say winter, guys, let's just open up like what Red Hood said, and also give credit where credit's due. When we discussed this the first time, the great Chris Righteous was on the show, and Chris said, "Guys, I'm telling you right now, winter expands it out into 2024." So let's just call it what it is. I do agree with that too. BRAP, where are you on the multiplayer front for Sony in 23? Is this something that they got to be concerned about? Or you know what? They got such a killer lineup, the multiplayer is just icing on the cake.
I think the multiplayer is icing on the cake. I mean, you know, they have, like the other platforms have, they have, they have the Call of Duty, Call of Duty. They have, Fortnite. They have Destiny. They have, I mean, all the more popular multiplayer games they have right now. So I think they're okay. It'd be great if they showed us, if we got like a factions. I think from a fan, like in terms of like fan talk or like, getting, catering to with the base wants. I think if they delivered factions, I think that'd be big. But I think outside of that, I think they're fine. I mean, I don't think they need to release a new, first party multiplayer game just yet. We know they have like 12 multiplayer games in development or something, or 12 live service games.
10 was the number I heard, but it could have been 12.
Yeah, I mean they got a lot. I've heard they have there's two first person shooters that were pretty far in development from what I understand. Do
you think we're going to see them in 23? I'm thinking these multiplayer games are actually 24 and out.
Yeah.
No, these are going to be 2024 and out. But I'd like to see actually, outside of just the multiplayer stuff, I'd like for them to give us a show. It'd be nice if we had like we didn't have a big show this year. And I understand like they have quietly been giving us a little bit of a roadmap for 2023, talking about Spider-Man releasing, but I'd like to see another show from them, like a big show where they give us like a longer roadmap of some other maybe announced titles. Because we know they're working on some other things. I mean, I know that they've announced at the Game Awards they showed Death Stranding 2, which I saw you had the footage there rolling on Death Stranding 2, which by the way, I'm super
very excited. Yeah, me too. I'm very excited.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't know though. Like I read that Kojima article, video game VGC, whatever it's called, interview Kojima, and they're like, yeah, Microsoft allowed me. Basically, he's like, Microsoft, they were the only ones that didn't think I was basically crazy for this new game I'm working on, and I'm like,
it's a mobile cloud game.
It's a cloud game, yeah.
Yeah, and I said to myself, I'm like, okay, so. Before, and I would say to the Xbox diehards that are pom-pomming who didn't like Kojima when Death Stranding came out, if you remember that, I would say that he was some of them were saying he was anti-American, which anyhow, but I would say that just lower the expectations. This Kojima games, especially more recently, may not appeal to to a lot of people, I think, on that platform.
It's funny you say that, and I have these. Go ahead, Jay. Yeah. I'm going to give you the mic. I felt the same way as BRAP on that because it's a cloud-based game, and it sounds like it's a passion project, Jay.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not saying it's going to be
budget.
bad,
the budget on they said it was a small budget on there
small
too.
Budget,
so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I don't know what I'm curious to see what that actually means. Like, is it like a smaller AAA budget? Is it AA? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious. But Death Stranding 2, by the way, and Death Stranding wasn't for everyone either. Even on the PlayStation, as much as PlayStation fans.
Death Stranding was totally not for everybody.
It wasn't for everyone.
Best game to me. It was my goatee for that year.
I love that game.
I put in more hours in that game than any game ever. So
I mean, it was my game of the year that year.
Were you guys shocked how well it sold? Like relatively similar to like the Metal Gear games, like in terms of like.
I thought it did very
absolutely.
well too.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
But Red, there was conflicting reports out there, and of course the media is going to do what the media does, right? They're going to spin it however they want to have their article read. But there was a time, Jay, I know you remember this too, Red, when we were being told that Sony was upset with Kojima at the results of those sales, when then later on we find out that they were pretty damn good.
Yeah. I think it's upwards of 9 to 10 million copies sold from you remember this, a FedEx simulator. You remember that? I mean, everyone was mocking it, but it's a lot of people like delivering packages. And again, it's not for everyone. A lot of people don't have the desire to put in the time to get to the point where things open up, and it's I don't know, but it was for me, and I can't wait for part 2. I was not expecting. Actually, from the award show, I thought that Kojima was there to show off what he was working for Xbox.
Same.
And come to find out, he brought his PS5 exclusive to the show. Not only show the trailer, but he had actual gameplay there. And it's oh man, I mean.
So I asked the question the minute I saw that.
Sony's publishing this one too, by the way.
BRAP, I tweeted that out the minute it was being discussed, and I said, "Is this going to be published by Sony?" You were one of the people that got right back to me. A few others as well. I think the great Zuby Tech, who's in the chat, also wrote me and said, Mooch, this is published, which means that you won't find Death Stranding 2 on Game Pass in the future.
Nope.
I did want to ask a question because, like, I know a lot of people didn't really pick up on the story where Kojima was like posting like the posters and stuff like that, character posters. Yeah. It didn't have like the Sony copyright thing at all. It was like talking about Kojima like copyright, which is weird. And then the same thing happened kind of similar to the movie that's happening or something like that. That's not under like the PlayStation umbrella either. And like people are wondering if Death Stranding 2 is still a working title, and that's why it doesn't have like the Sony like copyright claims like they normally do, or if like possible. Sony gave him the actual rights. Which I'm wondering.
It's possible. Now, keep in mind, Death Stranding recently came out on PC Game Pass.
Yes.
But it didn't come out on the console. Only on PC. So, I don't know. Was that something that Kojima himself, because he made that first game and that they allowed him to do that, or was that Sony that made a deal with Microsoft and allowed it to?
Different publisher for PC.
Okay.
Yeah, 505.
So that's 505 Games. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They ponied up the money for it. Okay.
Ryan,
I mean, Sony actually. I think Sony commented said they weren't aware or knew of any.
Ryan Landis BRAP is asking a good question. He says, "Is DS2 going to be built on the same Decima engine?" I believe so. Would that make sense?
It's supposed to be more of a modified engine of Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, that's gonna look. Yeah, it's gonna look amazing.
I tell you what, that Decima engine is.
It's crazy.
Wow, it's like it is whatever. I mean, look, hats off to Guerrilla for one making a game that's better than Killzone, because Killzone 2 was good, but I wasn't a big fan of the Killzone series, although Killzone 2 wasn't too bad. And then they had the Decima engine, and then pivoting and making a Horizon, but I mean that Decima engine is just incredible.
Well, so let me do this. We've done a good job of kind of saying the good, the bad, and the ugly with Sony. So let's go, Jay. I'll start with you here because I got, as you guys know, and everybody in the panel knows, the chat knows, I've got 75 topics. Let's try to get through 4 of them tonight. Jay, I'll start back with you real quick because then I want to hit. You guys already hit 3 or 4 different subjects I've hit on my topics list. But Jay, where are you on Xbox for 23? Where does your excitement and where do your concerns come in?
Okay, like you said, we started out 2021 with high hopes that 2022 we started off with high hopes because we were promised best games are coming.
Yep.
And that fell flat. They didn't release pretty much anything of note. And so 2023, listen, based on what they've showed us thus far, I can't say I'm excited. I know what to expect from Bethesda. So I know, Bethesda dropped their games. You spent a couple of years getting it patched, to getting it, fixed before it becomes, what it should have been. So Starfield, I'm taking a wait and see approach. I'm not, it's, that I'm meh on that game.
Yeah.
I do know that Redfall, it really looks like a Back 4 Blood game that's with vampires and stuff like that.
Yep.
Hopefully it does well. I hope both of these games knock it out the park. But besides that, there is nothing else that's on the landscape that's just going to show me my 12 T-flop of power, look like it's going to push the industry forward, look like it's going to be a masterpiece. Everything else just, hey, it's in Game Pass, so I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
That is what, in 2023, I need Microsoft to change that mindset for me. I don't want to be like, I'll try it. It's in Game Pass.
Right.
I want them to give me something that is a definitive reason why I'm going to drop this $70 or even buy Game Pass. I need that definitive factor.
I like that measuring gauge you just put there, Jay. I like the fact that when you have a game that comes out for Xbox, whether you have Game Pass or not, it's so good and you like it so much that you want to buy it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
you want to buy it. A new IP you want to buy. Think about that for a second. And I'm using myself as an example, but I ask everybody in the chat as well. Guys, when was the last time you were like, I can't wait to run out and buy that Xbox game? I mean, it's been a while for me, but it doesn't mean it's been a while for you. I'm just saying.
360 days.
That's fair, Jay, but there was definitely games on the Xbox One. Like, I wanted to own, now I'm going to remember, Dead Rising 3. I really wanted to own that. I wanted to own Titanfall. Yeah. I understand that these games were prior to Game Pass. Shout out to the great Jez 7780. Jez, you know how to get into the Discord. But nonetheless, I would say, Jay, you make a good point there. That's really what it comes down to. Is when was the last time you got so excited for an Xbox game? You said, I want to own that game, period. And it's been a minute.
Well, Mooch, but besides saying I actually want to buy a game, I'll take it a step further. When was the last time we actually saw an Xbox game and said, this is why I spent my $500 on this console, or this is why I spent my, it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, it is. It has, and I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way, regardless if they want to say it out loud or not. Red, where are you on this? Jay brought up a couple of valid concerns. What are you looking forward to from Xbox in 23, and what has you a bit scratching your head?
Some people are gonna definitely hate me in the chat. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really excited for anything coming from Xbox of next year. BRAP's gonna hate me. He already knows my opinion on this. I don't care for Starfield. I think Todd Howard's last greatest game was Morrowind, and he's been spinning a lot of lies since then. And then, I'm not a big racer guy, so JJ's gonna hate me for saying that. I don't care for Gran Turismo or Forza or anything like that. The only exception to that rule is Mario Kart or something like that.
Blasphemy.
I know it is blasphemy.
Listen, Jay, we were having a show. We were having a conversation before the show. Red literally said exactly what I said to you. I am not a big Fallout fan, Red. For me, Fallout or Skyrim in space, it doesn't move the needle for me. Then I'm also not a GT Sport or GT or Forza fan. Yeah. So Forza coming out doesn't move the needle either. I'm actually sitting here with fingers crossed, hoping that Hellblade 2 comes out end of next year.
Same. I'm actually that's the only thing I'm really excited about is if Hellblade comes out.
That would be my excitement factor for Xbox 2, right?
Exactly. And Obsidian is to me, I feel like a superior development studio than Todd Howard's team. So if a Valve came out or something like that, I'll be way more hyped for that game than any of his games. So it's I'm not really excited for it, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I kind of wish they did more. And like, then Redfall, that's not my type of game. I don't really care for the Left 4 Dead series. And I felt like Arcane, for me, like their best game that I really loved so much was like Dishonored 1.
Yeah,
afterwards, I didn't really care for.
By the way, shout out to Marlesco in the chat. Marlesco, let me know if my audio's better. Listen, guys, I mentioned it earlier. The mixer I currently use, I'm not a big fan of. I put it on my Santa list, okay, for a new mixer. I believe I'm going to be getting that new mixer within the next couple of days. Very excited. I'm hoping my audio sounds better. It's not that it sounds not clear. I just don't think the volume is coming through the way that I want it to anymore on this mixer. So if I'm still sounding low, please let me know. By the way, shout out to Supermods Cheats as well. He says, hi, Mooch, happy holidays. Supermods, thank you so much for what you do. I appreciate the timestamps that you do for the show every week. It is a blessing to have you here. Thank you. But no, I really think when it comes down to it, I'm just a bit not as excited as others, and I'm wondering if it's an artificial excitement, because like when we watched what we saw from Starfield, it really just looked like, for me, again, I know we had this long-winded debate, and I don't want to go down. If you think it's Skyrim, that's fine. For me, the way that I was seeing it, it reminded me a lot of Fallout 4 in space, and that's fine.
Yep.
But just because you take Fallout 4 and then you take an eraser and just, erase the back and then redraw, a space background and then have the same fetch quests out, that doesn't do a lot for me if I didn't like what was going on in the other 4. So I don't really see this being a huge movement. I'm hoping I'm wrong when we see more of the game. And then I really think that when it comes down to, what is it? Is it Redfall? Am I saying that game properly?
Yeah.
I think Redfall is going to have a tremendous spike when it comes out, like everything does on Game Pass. And then 2-3 weeks later, it's like, Red what? Play Red who?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see that having longevity. And Jay, we were just talking about that with Sony. So this is not just a Microsoft problem. This is not just a Microsoft problem. There's a very good chance that 2 or 3 of those multiplayer games, BRAP, you said 10 to 12, 3 or 4 of those could be like a Redfall. And I got news for you. I'm going to be here to be like, guys, I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to probably not play it. I mean, I even played the Vampire Blood Hunt. What was that game that came out? The Masquerade? That multiplayer that was basically a battle royale? I played the hell out of that. I really did.
Yeah, for a good 2 weeks.
Yeah,
a good 2 weeks.
I did. Jay, 2-3 weeks, and I haven't touched it since. I've actually deleted it off of both my PS5s. So
exactly.
Yeah, this is not just, by the way, it's not an Xbox bash. I have the same concerns with Sony's multiplayer, and Jace does, Red does, and so does BRAP. I think we all have that same concern. I don't think Redfall is going to be this glorious thing, so the excitement there is very, very small as well. So I'm almost looking forward to what will be the very end of 2023 for Xbox, or I have to wait, me, not you guys, I have to wait till 2024 to see what I want to play.
Yeah.
So let me pose this question. We'll go rapid fire here for a second. Let's move it right to. So we got something?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. Actually, what's the next question, Mooch? I don't want to.
My next question was basically, well, Jay and you guys all alluded to it. I want to talk a little bit. Do you guys expect? Okay, we're hearing from the Xbox camp that we're gonna get a showcase in January, and now we're seeing PlayStation change their official Twitter banner, which is generally their banner that they put up when they're going to have either whether it be a state of play or a bigger showcase. It looks like Sony's about to show some goods. Do you think, BRAP, I'll start with you. Do you think we're going to see from either of these companies within the first 3 months of 2023?
Yeah, well, I just want to real quick before I answer that question. I just want to throw in my quick thoughts on
please
my Xbox for 2023. I think I heard Jay say something about I want them to show me something that kind of makes me think, this is why I spent $500 on a machine that's supposed to eat monsters for breakfast. And I don't disagree with Jay there. Microsoft has yet to show me emphasis on me, by the way, because I know people can be like, they came out and they marketed this thing as a 12 teraflop machine, eats monsters for breakfast, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's go. Like, I'm all about that, let's go. But I just finished Miles Morales today on PS5. I just finished God of War Ragnarok, platinum that earlier in the week. I haven't seen anything from Microsoft, visually speaking, that's on par with anything that PlayStation's put out so far this generation.
Well, is it
I spent $500.
Is it rude of me though, BRAP? Is it rude of me to think that Starfield may not hit your graphical? I don't think that's going to be. I think it'll look nice, but I don't think it's going to be insane.
It's just like Fallout,
right?
I mean, if you don't like the graphics in Fallout or any of their games, you're not going to.
For a Bethesda game, I was impressed with Starfield. Like,
you were. Yeah, I remember.
That's the first game for me that looks like, okay, you know, and again, just visually speaking for a Bethesda game. Now, I'm curious to see how the game, because the game, it's going to be a huge game. So I'm curious to see how the performance of that game is going to be. And if Todd Howard, and this is going to be the hard thing. Like, I think when Skyrim came out, it was, you know, it was a big deal. I mean, it changed. It took the design of the Elder Scrolls games and just took it to another level. I don't know if they can do that. Maybe they can with the hardware. I don't know. Like, I don't.
Do you
know
think it could hit 60 FPS, BRAP? Like on Series X, or do you think it'll struggle?
It's 30 frames. They already confirmed it.
Oh, is it 30?
They confirmed it already. It's 30 frames.
Okay.
Yeah. Todd Howard said he doesn't care about 60 frames. He cares about, you know, as long as it's 30, it's good.
If you remember Morrowind, which only released on the original Xbox, like that game was huge for consoles. I mean, nothing at that scale had been done on a console, and that's what I'm curious to see if this game does. I don't know if it does it, but at least visually speaking, to me, that's like kind of the first game that I saw. Like, okay, this looks like the first like next gen game that I've seen on the Series X platform. But we'll see. We'll see how, you know. From a design perspective, that does anything to kind of move the needle. I'm not sure it's going to do that the way previous Elder Scrolls games did. But yeah, so that's just my quick 2 cents on 2023 for Xbox, and I'd like to see them be a little more consistent in the production pipeline. Although I don't think that's going to happen this year either. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the only game that I'm looking forward to is Skyrim, and that's it. And I spent $180 for Game Pass Ultimate. My ROI on Game Pass is negative. I want Microsoft to change that for me. And I don't know if that's going to happen in 2023. I might be negative again with Game Pass, but we'll see. Everyone's different. I recognize that everyone's usage is different.
No, it's true. And I think that, and I want to say shout out to X Abbott. So I think what X Abbott says, I don't think they actually came out and said it's guaranteed 30 frames, but based off of Todd's interview, I could see where we would gather that thought process, right, Jay? I don't think it's in writing quite yet, but I think Todd basically said it without saying it.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. He
basically he had an interview and they asked him about that, and so basically that was his response.
Yeah. No, I really do. Shout out to the great Jez7780 who's joined us. Jez, you know, a lot of people have been writing me, and they go, you know, because shout out to the great King Thresh, by the way. Oh, geez, a great reminder. We're doing the Roundtable Players' Choice Awards. Please go over and vote. I always tweet them out. Everyone's tweeting them out. And me and Jez are in a category for, is it best voice? I don't know if it's
best voice. Yes.
Voice. And everyone's like, you know, Mooch, I'm not, you know, maybe the guy's going to write me or like, hey, Mooch, I voted for you. And others are like, Jez, don't tell Mooch I voted for Jez.
Like,
right? So
is Mav in there too? Not Mav. What's his name?
Mag.
You had him on last week.
Mag. No, I don't think
Mag.
Yeah. I don't know if Mag's on there. I don't think he's on there, but I'm not 100%.
Best voice.
Great.
You and Mag and Jez kind of sound alike.
That's it.
And I mean that respectfully, by the way.
Well, yeah, you mean that as in, can I get a slice and a Diet Coke? That's what he's trying to
that's
say.
Right.
Yes, that's I understand. Yes. Shout out I'm only kidding, BRAP.
I know, like we're both in the best voice category. Like, oh damn,
that's fun, man. It's all fun and
games.
Here's
what it is, man.
Listen, I'm honored as they say, I'm honored to be nominated.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm probably not gonna win anyway because my name it says Jess in there. Jes.
Oh, someone spelled it wrong.
Who's Jess?
I don't know. Jess the Gaming Grindhouse. I don't know. We got females on the Grindhouse. I don't know.
There's Jess, and then there's also a Reese on Xbox. We're trying to figure out who these people
are.
There
is a Reese. Who's a Reese?
Who's a Reese?
That's it. I'm catfishing everybody in the Grindhouse. Watch it.
Reggie Skull says, I voted for Jez. Sorry, Mooch. Reggie, what the hell happened? Huh? Wow.
I got the sound effects.
The sound
effects.
Oh, my God.
I got a whole entourage.
That's so great.
Mooch, real quick, no, man. Just to kind of because I know I'm going to forget this. But the question you asked about the Xbox showcase,
yes,
like it coming like January. Like, look, great. I'm actually excited to see what they show, but I think it's a month too late. I think they should have.
Yeah,
it's like, come on, guys, like 100 million viewers. Game Awards, like
Exactly.
your competitors showed stuff like. Where's the foresight? Like I like this is the thing with Microsoft that bugs me a little bit about them. Like there's never a plan B. It's like, and I wonder like if they were thinking like, okay, you know, this deal's going to go through, you know, we're going to get caught in Game Pass, you know, now that hasn't happened, there's no plan B. And you look at look, Starfield got delayed end of like this year.
Yeah.
And there was no plan B for that. It's like, guys, like you guys they seemingly put all their eggs in the basket.
And when Halo got delayed,
either game,
there was nothing to make
Pass.
up for it.
Yeah,
when Halo got delayed too, same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like what is like I don't understand what's happening, and it's for me like as somebody who owns the Xbox platform, it's frustrating. It's like okay, like why isn't there a plan B here? Like why aren't you guys anticipating that this game may get delayed, and maybe line up things where you could say, hey, you know what? If this game gets delayed, we have this in the pipeline. You know, we can release this in the Game Pass, and they haven't done that. And the other thing too is. I don't understand. Like, look, you may get 4 million views, maybe 5 million views. I'd have to look at the E3 event they had this past summer. But I mean, I don't know. 5 million is less than 100 million. Again, biggest award show. You also set an expectation with your diehard fans because you announced a Series X console, the current gen console at the Game Awards. You announced Perfect Dark remake at the Game Awards.
Right.
You showed Hellblade 2 at the Game Awards.
Twice.
So people are like, yeah, like Microsoft's going to bring it.
One was a National Geographic sponsored show, but nonetheless.
No, they were both those trailers were from the Game Awards. The original one.
The gameplay that didn't look like gameplay.
The giant.
Yes.
Yep, the giant one. And the first one was launched with the X when they turned the name into the Series X.
The not gameplay. Loved it.
Yeah, her face, like making all those things. That was the original announcement, and then they did that gameplay that was smoke and mirrors per Digital Foundry quote.
Yes, that was a miracle on it. So, Jez, what do you think, Jez? You kind of came in.
I'm sorry, but real quick, that's it. Yeah, and I'm sorry, Jez, but that's a thing that really bugs me. Like, guys, where's the plan B here? Like, where's the planning? I look. Things are going to go awry with software development, right? Things are going to happen. Games are going to get delayed, but have something in the pipeline. Like get some third-party deals.
Yeah,
you know, reach out to your publishers, your developers, and say, hey. And they've done some of that. I mean, they did get some games in a Game Pass, but I mean, I don't think they've gotten certain types of games in the Game Pass. Kind of like make that a little more diverse. Get some big AAAs, get some AA.
Well, no, Brad, do me a favor. I want you to keep this energy because we're going to go as soon as I get done asking Jez the question, we're going to kind of get into the high on life situation, which gets into exactly what you're talking about when it comes to how did Xbox decide to fill in the gaps when they didn't have the big first parties ready. But Jez, what do you think? Two things. First of all, what are the hopes and dreams you got for Xbox, PlayStation real quick in 2023? We kind of already went over that. And then what do you think about, are we going to get an Xbox and PlayStation event in January, February, or March?
So the first question, for the 2023, I was hearing what you guys are talking about. One of the things that, a lot of these questions as to what their 2023 is going to look like with some of the games, the problem that they have is that they go to these events and they do not show progress to the games. I say this like a broken record all the time.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did was I acknowledged when they had their show last year and actually really showed Forza Horizon 5. Like they showed the breakdown of it. Then they did weekly specials of it and showing gameplay and talking over it. And I'm like, that's what you need to do with all your first party games. That's what you need to do. You need to do exactly what the Sonys and Nintendos do is that they market the hell out of it. They have all these gameplay discussions and really sell the game. And we're sitting here with Starfields and Redfalls and we got a little trailer here and there with no breakdowns, no weekly updates. I saw the one trailer that I found was from an email. You got to be part of an email group, and then they send you an email of a video, and it's just a bunch of people talking about Starfield, and it's not the developers. There's no gameplay. There's nothing new.
I'm tired of the round table talk.
Yeah, it's real, just talking heads with no gameplay, and I just don't understand why they think that's an effective way of demonstrating games. It's not, and that's why you sit here and go, "What's their 2023? What is Redfall? Is Redfall going to be exciting?" We can't. How can we be super excited for it? We saw a couple of trailers. We get an idea that it may be Borderlands with vampires. And it's like, okay, well, What are the mission types? What are the mission structures? Are there interesting things, or is it go here and shoot a bunch of vampires and then come back and check in? Go over there, shoot a bunch of things. Are you going to be doing other things? They don't know. We don't know. They don't show us. And then Starfield, what kind of, like, what is going on? Are you going to fly the planet? Like, all these questions.
We're still asking.
Need to be. We're still asking.
We're still saying, is it Starfield? Is it Fallout?
What
in space?
is it?
Is it Skyrim in space? And
we don't know.
By the way, this is supposed to be a project that means so much to Todd Howard, and I'm sure it actually does. So let me just say, I'm sure it does. But if I was working on something that was me stepping away from Fallout, me stepping away from Skyrim, and those are the things I've been known for people to then take the thing I've been working on for the better part of a decade and then say it's just that in space, it's kind of demeaning.
It is.
I think.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so, too. And think about it. Mooch, they did a whole E3 conference for Fallout 4, man. That was like the highlight. He broke it down for about 2 hours. And Starfield, they gave him a minute and a half of a video that he was able to do. He didn't break down any mission structures or anything. Yeah, even in the after show, remember, they're like, oh, we got more to talk about tomorrow during the Summerfest. Still didn't even do any more about it.
No.
And that's why we sit here and it's like, well, what's 2023 look like? Who knows? And then I just saw some tweet now that was supposed to be in March, and now somebody's rumoring that it's going to be now in like June or something like that. Like the Redfall's getting moved out, delayed. I saw a tweet about that. But again, none of this is official because Microsoft doesn't even give you a date or a season anymore. You know, what's interesting is when they announced Spider-Man, they're like, Spider-Man's coming fall of 2023.
Yeah.
Redfall was slated for summer of 2022 and then got delayed to indefinitely sometime in 2023. I don't trust that whole we're targeting 12 months from the show because they showed the same games 2 months later at Gamescom and said we're targeting 12 months. I'm like, so does that mean you just delayed everything 2 months?
So when does the 12 months begin?
Yeah, when? And if you look, there's an asterisk that says we're targeting 12 months. And we know the word targeting in Microsoft terms because when you see what they said in Halo, we're targeting six months, we're targeting 3 months, we're targeting to have seasonality. The targeting is just a goal. Where's the foot in the ground saying this game needs to come out? And they don't have that. They haven't had that. So by 2023 is going to be a bunch of, again, the same questions that I had in 2022. And if they do a show, and Sony, I think Sony is going to do a show, definitely pushing the VR too. That's going to be the next pillar for them, and they're going to do it at CES.
That's always a tough show. We say this all the time. It's true. It's tough to show VR. They've done a better job of doing it. I'm sold.
So you know what's going to happen, Mooch? They're taking it to CES. CES is back. It's not no hands-off masks and stuff like that. Everybody's going to come back from CES telling us how it is, and we're going to get hands-on impressions from everybody. So that's why CES is a great way to show, because I agree. VR, it looks like crap on the screen. Like, it doesn't going to look that great.
Right.
But when you got people going, I did this is my experience in it, and that's what you're going to get from CES, I'm excited for.
I don't know if anybody else watched it, but when PSVR 2, I believe Sony flew a bunch of people out. IGN was one of them, and it was a gentleman I've never heard of that does work for IGN now. And he could not stop him, and I believe CNET did something as well. They could not stop raving about how great the eye tracing, the eye recognition is.
The eye motion,
The way that the OLED screen, it looks, everything is absolutely stunning, they said. Everything was very responsive. And they said the only question mark was they only got to try a couple of demos. They just said Sony's got to bring the games. And that goes, that's without saying.
Right. And that's it. So, like, now that's going to be their big thing in January. If Microsoft does, like it was what Rap was saying, you know, if they do a show in January, they missed a huge opportunity in December because I thought they're going to be these games that come out. And what it signifies to me was that these games are not going to come out in the first quarter at all. Like Redfall and stuff. I think all the stuff now is moving more to the summer because if you look, even reading Greenberg's tweet, it's all about timing. And I'm like, dude, timing. It's on their watch. They're not going to do something for even the Game Awards where they use that almost like as their E3 number 2. Yeah. And what's interesting is that they didn't do a tempered expectations. They didn't go, hey, guys, we're not going to. And that's why this January showcase, I think, is such a damage control piece of crap because that all happened after their no show at the Game Awards. If they know they were having a show, if they're having a show in January, we would have said, hey guys, we got more to show early on in 2023. we're going to be at the Game Awards, but, here's some games in Game Pass. See you next year. Something like that. Sign off.
Jazz, this is completely reactionary. This
totally.
is completely reactionary. You saw what came out
Mooch,
from...
Mooch, I think they did say that this was planned. They weren't planning to
now they're
saying
it.
Of course they're
going to say it. After the show, when they got the pushback.
Of course they're going to say it. But
they respond to the outrage.
BRAP, I got to tell you.
I'm just telling you what they said.
No.
But BRAP, when did they say it? They said it all after. When Greenberg's tweet was after all this.
Yeah, no, I get it, and that could have, and that could have been a response to the people, and not just people, by the way, but I mean, you look at the article by
the industry was
the IGN article by Ryan McCaffrey, who was like, "Hey, like,
yes, they had a response to
the face of like." I'm like, "Wow!" Like, if Ryan's criticizing you, you've done something bad.
But BRAP, guess what? The thing is they still never confirmed it though. Like this, they still never came out and said, "Hey, Ryan, I understand your press. We got something to show." This whole week got something to show. They never said anything. There's no date. Nobody confirmed this. It's all rumors, probably from insiders. All of a sudden, the damage control insiders come out. The same people that come out when. Oh, well, Perfect Dark's is working with Crystal Dynamics. Oh, I heard Perfect Dark development was rough. Now they're in a better place. I'm like, where were you before that announcement telling us how Perfect Dark was rough? No, you come in with the damage control. Right. The same people come out now and go, no, guys, they got something in January. And then there goes the internet running with it. But Microsoft never committed shit. Nothing. They haven't said anything.
No, they really haven't.
I'll be honest, guys. And I think a lot of people are going to have to be honest with themselves. Can we all agree that Xbox need better management?
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean,
damn.
Jay, I'm on record from 2018 till current day saying Xbox needs new leadership. And you know why I say that, Jay? I will not. I really won't. I won't do it. I'm not going to say, when you have a company as big as Microsoft and even a division as large as Xbox, it's not about one person. Okay, this is a group. There's a lot of people to share the blame here. It's not one individual. We can sit there and pick one if you want to talk about a certain topic, but in all honesty, Xbox needs new leadership across the board. And I feel like it's an old Seinfeld joke. Like, why do guys at a wedding all wear tuxedos, right? So in case the groom doesn't show up, everybody just takes a step to the left, and nobody knows nothing's missing, right? Right? Which is why besides the groom, the next guy in line is called the best man.
Exactly,
right?
That's true.
It's a great bit. And what they did here is they were like, we'll get rid of Donnie D, and then everybody just took a step to the left. That's true. That was not cleaning house.
You're right.
That's the problem. A lot of the bad decisions that were going on in early Xbox One were the same people sitting at the mahogany table that are sitting there now.
Yep, they're part of the problem. I can't fathom that Microsoft would rather have a show in January when no one's paying attention than to have 80 million people on their stage for free. That
in the
you
Microsoft
can't buy
Theater.
that type of advertisement in the Microsoft Theater. Hey, listen, even if they didn't have anything, just rerun the same shit that you showed at E3. Just rerun it. Trailers. I mean, it at least brings some of that stuff up to date, right?
It was a commercial next to the Schick shaving commercial.
Yeah, it's just
Game Pass commercial. That's what I had.
Guys,
dude, they had like all the ads and shit. Like that's what it felt like. It was like in between commercial break. It was like bathroom break. Here's the Game Pass commercial. Like it wasn't even like presented. Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
I'm gonna say January is such a weird month too. It's like everyone's going back to work. And like it doesn't make any sense. Where summer, okay, it makes sense. Like back in the E3 time frame because everyone's going on vacation and all that. And PlayStation Showcase kind of happens around August or September, or even sometimes like June or July, right?
Right.
Like I just don't get why specifically January if that's really the case. It just doesn't make sense. In terms of optics and in terms of like growing, like because the thing is when PlayStation does it, like when they do a state of play or anything like that, they have the engagement. They have like people actually going to it because like I hate using the phrase they have clout.
You think they're gonna go back to like that Inside Xbox monthly updates now that they got games?
So.
That's what they're gonna announce.
I don't think they're gonna go back to that. I just don't.
That
think
was horrible.
They didn't get the views either, if I remember correctly.
No. Major Nelson was in a flowered shirt talking to a Twitter board.
Yeah,
So-
no, it
so-
was not a good look.
It's flower. Was he really in a flowered shirt? That's interesting.
He always
yeah.
wears this flowered
Like a
shirt. Doesn't want
Hawaiian
to touch
shirt.
people, shake hands. Either.
Yeah, Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, so I just want to I just want to make just comment on something real quick because we talk about leadership and like I've seen people even in the Xbox community be critical of Phil Spencer, and I think Phil and David Jaffe's been critical of Phil Spencer. I think Phil, what he's done with the Xbox, I think he's done a good job turning around with like. I mean, they're in a better place. I mean, I don't think we could. I don't know.
I agree
maybe
if
some
they're in a
people
better
think of it.
place, but they definitely want their Game Pass numbers up, right? And it feels like they're plateaued for a little bit because they would
Well,
normally
this year they did, yeah.
announce numbers
That's
right
the
all the
production
time.
pipeline, though. That's the
Yeah.
issue.
That's true.
In the production,
But like, what do you do in the
pipeline these
meantime,
days.
though?
But-
Exactly.
but-
Where's
but
the plan B?
Right.
Yeah, no plan B.
So there's a plan B issue,
And-
but there's also a production pipeline issue here, Brap, with the way that policy is at Xbox. Policy
But
at
Mooch-
Xbox right now, there's no urgency.
Very hands off.
Yeah, and that's the part I was just about to get to that. Like there's developers on record saying, "Hey, you know what? Like we wouldn't come here unless we didn't have the freedom, creative freedom." It's like that's all nice and dandy, but you got to meet deadlines. Like people in the Xbox community, the diehards, and what I like to call the extremist podcast of the Xbox community, they tend to sell their listeners on hopes and dreams. And it's never measuring Xbox on deliverables. And they're just not, for me, as somebody who owns an Xbox, multiple Xboxes in my house, is a Game Pass Ultimate or what is it called? The Game Pass
Yeah,
PC,
Ultimate.
whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Ultimate, thank you.
Yep.
Game Pass subscriber, like they're not meeting those deliverables for me. They're not. Like I don't use Game Pass, and I'm paying $180 a year for it. I don't use it. Like there's no plan B. There's no. To me, it just doesn't seem like there's just sense of urgency. There's no consistency. And look, we have things that you can measure success with, and
Yeah.
they're number 3 for a reason. And I'm not saying that you can't enjoy the Xbox platform. When I say that, I know people are like, "Oh, you talk about Xbox is amazing," and that's fine. If you like the Xbox console,
Absolutely.
you're enjoying Game Pass,
Enjoy it.
you're enjoying the content. That's fair. Like I'm not going to take that away from anyone.
No.
Because it's up to each individual consumer. However, when you benchmark their numbers versus the industry, they're number 3, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, think about the reason
Yeah.
behind that. And
Yeah.
and you look at like what Sony, Nintendo were doing. There's more consistency there. There's more consistency. And I know quality can be subjective, but there's more consistency in terms of releases. And there's more consistency, I think, in just the conversation around, wow, did you see that new first party game? Or you see Breath of the Wild? It was an amazing experience. God of War Ragnarok, amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like we get those conversations as much in the community when it comes to first party Xbox titles.
Yeah, Brap, I think like Nintendo and PlayStation hit it where like they're in like a great equilibrium where they have a balance between not being too overbearing but also not being too hands off, right?
Yeah.
So like that's where like the 360 generation where they were too hands on, and that's why you saw a lot of talent leave, right? And then like compare it to now where you're still having talent leaving, like in the initiative, because they're too hands off now.
Yeah.
And that like because nothing's getting done. Like you don't want on your resume, especially developers, that you're working on a project for so long and it's not going anywhere. And that's why you see people going back to like the original studios they were working with before the initiative or something like that.
Yes, and I don't remember the
Imagine if you
individual's
work for
name, but-
Compulsion Games. Imagine working for Compulsion Games on your resume.
Yeah.
You put We Happy Few out, and it's like we haven't announced anything since 2018.
Yeah, the other thing, too, that really kind of struck me when Red was just talking was that you do have to keep in mind, too, PlayStation and Nintendo, the console is their livelihood. It's their bread and butter. Microsoft clearly can exist without Xbox. The Xbox division, even though it's its own entity now, right? Even though it is, even they are split 3 ways. Part of it's the console, part of it's the PC, part of it's the cloud. And I think that Microsoft can live with, if one of those 3 didn't work out, they go, so be it. They still have the other 2. So Microsoft is really stretching what they're trying to do out. And I don't know when they'll actually, or if they'll ever decide that they went maybe the wrong course with what they're doing. It's not to say that their idea and technology is phenomenal, but you're not seeing the hardcore. You're also not seeing the casual flock to it quite yet. Will that happen in the next 10 years? Who's to say? I'm not going to say it will or won't work. My question is, will they ever decide whether or not they want to backtrack a bit on where they went in this direction? Let me do this real quick. I do want to go ahead and bring the conversation over to, because we've been talking about Game Pass and this and that. I want to talk about High on Life. And,
Mooch, can I say one prediction thing you got here?
Go ahead,
for 2023, you can hear the Grinds of Damas here. I'm going to tell you right now, this show in January,
yes,
what I think it's going to be is it's going to be a pre-hype show for E3. Every year, E3 is back this year. I was saying this on Salty's show. E3 is back. So Microsoft, that's their showpiece. Remember, E3, Phil on the stage, he loves that stuff.
Yeah.
I guarantee there will be a tweet sometime in January or something with akin to this show that we're going to show you some stuff, but we can't wait to show you more at E3. That is going to be the narrative. I'm telling you,
man.
E3, because if you think about it, these games are not coming out from January to March unless they stealth drop
more
Redfall.
Waiting.
Yes.
Yes.
And they do it every year.
I hope that's
Every
not
year.
the case, Jazz.
I'm telling you, E3's back. E3 is back. The stage is back. It hasn't been back, and they're gonna go big. So I think actually this E3 might be the E3 we've been waiting for the last decade.
Drink things you make the
for my Bartesian. But what I'm saying is like
self-fill one of those.
What I'm saying is like I think this might be the E3 that we've been waiting for, that he's been talking about for the last decade, because this is the E3 where he could be like, we're gonna show you all our first party. Here it is on the big stage, and Avowed, just everything we've been asking for. Perfect Dark, all this, and it looks great.
Yeah,
Fable, they need to do that. That needs to happen.
It's
not
be
going.
Dud.
I don't think it's going to go to, given their track record.
What do you think, Jay?
It's going to be a dud. I mean, well, Jay, but we've been doing this podcast for the last decade, guys. Year after year, they had E3. Remember that year they had E3 all to themselves, and they still failed.
2019, the stage opened up and everything.
Listen, they
didn't show gameplay to Gears of War. Remember, that was a campaign gameplay. Like, Gears of War wasn't shown. Instead, they showed escape mode. Tell me how many people play escape mode in Gears 5? Nobody did.
Dude, I forgot about that.
I mean,
they opened up the stage. The wrestlers were under the stage playing escape mode. They didn't show the campaign, and they didn't show multiplayer.
Jazz, the only reason I gotta say, you got me kind of all excited for it, but I gotta go a little bit with Jay. The reason I don't think E3 is going to be that big is they are under a new motto right now where they're only going to show 12 months out. So even if they want to be as rambunctious as they can, they can only, because Avowed's not going to come out before June of 2024.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
not.
So there's
Did they say that's going to be the case moving forward?
That's what they said.
That's the way I
that was just
they made
last year's shit. I think it was just last year.
You think that was a big name for last year?
I thought it was last year too.
Because every year
I think it
before
depends
that,
on the backlash. Right?
every year before that, they have used that E3, that summertime, to kind of hype up what's coming in the rest of the year. Even the year before that, when they had Psychonauts 2, they kind of said, hey, from this moment forward, from June forward, we're going to have a release every month, ending with Halo Infinite, and they always do that. They always use that as a thing. This was the first year where they're like, 12 months. You want to know why? Crickets for this holiday. That's why. That's why it was 12 months. So I don't think that's a cadence. If it is, that sucks, because as you see, it's not reliable at all. They said these games are coming in the next 12 months.
And BRAP might remember
number 7.
I called bullshit on that right after we did the Xbox Bethesda show. I said,
that was an excuse.
What an excuse. That's the dog ate my homework. Sorry, I'll get it to you on Monday.
Oh, Perfect Dog, we're not gonna show it.
That's a last minute. That's a last minute excuse right before the show goes to say, "Hey, just so everybody knows, we're only showing games for the next that are going to be released in the next 12 months." That's not what the big showcase is supposed to be. It's supposed to show us, like, even look at somebody even said, "Hey, what's going on with KOTOR, right? Or KOTOR?" Like, that's been that's indefinitely suspended until they find a new developer. But PlayStation knew it wasn't coming out in 12 months. They showed it anyway. Like, you should show it anyways. Don't wait 12 months to put a Band-Aid on it. That's ridiculous. Don't put a governor on it. You have to show what you're going to show.
Hello, Governor.
Hey, Governor.
Do you want Mooch? He has a crazy stat, right? Yes. Everything that pretty much we saw in the 2020 Sony showcase has been released. Pretty much. Like, they have, except for, like, the other showcases with KOTOR, but, like, we never knew that Miles Morales existed before 2020. We never knew about Demon Souls. We never knew about Returnal, Ratchet and Clank. God of War Ragnarok. We had no clue, and those games have been announced and released and reviewed well.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. When you say games were and they were delayed as well and still released. Gran Turismo is another one. All these games we had no clue even existed 2 years ago. How's that crazy?
It's
And
a very
Microsoft,
good
we've
point.
known these games that Microsoft has been working on for over 2 years. Beyond that. And what's crazy, like they said, State of Decay 3 was in development. I think when we interviewed them in 2017, 2018, they came on Planet Xbox and they're like, yep, we're working on State of Decay 3. That was like the first game that Booty confirmed when they bought the studios. It was State of Decay 3 from Undead Labs.
That's right. Shout out to Zuby Tech said Pragmata, Little Devil Inside are the only ones not released yet, according to the great Zuby Tech. Shout out to Zuby Tech. Go ahead, Brad.
What's up, Zoobs?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, a lot of us, just for those in the live chat, so they know. I mean, a lot of I think the opinions here are based on Microsoft's track record. And so when I see people, because what ends up happening is we talk about Sony, everyone's like, "Oh, you're just a pony."
No.
It's like, no, Sony. That conversation is
Go
based
drink
off
some
Sony's
eggnog.
track
I tell
record.
them.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Extra rum.
it's based off their track record. Like, you tend as a consumer to, like, if when LG releases an OLED, you think it's probably going to be the best TV in the market. You're just basing that off previous history, their track record. And so when we talk about Microsoft or Xbox in particular, we're thinking of the track record that they've had recently, and same thing with Nintendo and PlayStation. So, I think it's important for people to understand that too, because I think a lot of times it's you get hit with you're capping or you're a pony. It's like, no, what we're discussing here is just based on track record, and you could see that. You look at the production pipelines. I mean, like, I don't think there's
look at 2022. Like, just look at this year. Like, Xbox had. Anyway, High on Life, like that's what we're going to talk about. Like there's your game of the year for Xbox, like one of the nominees from the People's Choice.
And you guys all make
like
great
that's
points.
what, like look at what we're doing. We're scrapping at stuff, and that game is not even like we had Stray release in services, and it was about the game. It wasn't about, hey, I'm playing this in a service. And this High on Life thing, like this is kind of like everybody's just gravitating to it because there was nothing for the holidays.
Well, that's it. So and I appreciate the segue. Let's go. Did anybody but me play I've been playing it because I'm just one of those people now where it's like,
I'm not interested.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Same.
Right?
Yeah, it's not
I'm not knocking it. All I'm saying is,
I
felt like the combat, just like in terms of like looking at the impressions, just didn't feel like it hit well. It was like, it's like if you enjoy Rick and Morty, like comedy and humor, like. But like the gameplay's not the best, like you'll love that game. But if you don't care, like if you're also prone for really good gameplay, then you're also not gonna like it.
Well, so I'm glad you say that, guys, because here's the thing. So the reason I bring it up is, first of all, I played it. I guess let me do a quick 30-second review here. Gunplay mechanics, you couldn't get any more basic. The writing, I happen to like, not love, Rick and Morty. It's Rick and Morty material. It's missing the Rick and Morty combo, the duo. Mm-hmm. You've just got Morty, and to be honest with you, Rick is a lot of times he's the punchline. So you're missing a bit of that. I haven't gotten too far. I beat the first boss and just kind of gone into the second area just now. Again, I am not going to sit here and say the writing and all that gets annoying, because if you don't like the writing and you don't like the jokes, well, the game's not for you in the first place, because, I mean, that's really what the sales pitch is. But it's a very mediocre game. I mean, I think that it's sitting, I don't know if it's sitting at a 64 or a 68. I think this thing's somewhere between a 65 and a 75, depending on how much you love the writing. I don't think that you'll ever turn around and say High on Life sold you on the gunplay, right? The story is kind of all over the place and a mess. But that's part of the writing. It's kind of that goofy Rick and Morty stuff. So it's okay. Yeah. But the part that I wanted to bring up was High on Life sets Xbox Game Pass records as biggest 2022 launch. So what does that tell you? Right? So there's a lot of different. I appreciate the sound effects.
Who did that?
I don't know who the hell did that. Disrespect.
Listen, I got the new mixer coming, and I am strategically picking sound effects that do not copy. I am not copying Jez's, so I'm gonna have all new ones, but it's gonna be great. But I love it.
Was that you, Jez? Was that
No, who did that?
It's the great gaming grindhouse.
It's the holidays.
That's right, the holidays.
Well, what I'm hearing from you, Mooch, is like you're gonna not really you're gonna look at Dez's homework, but not really copy it.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what a mooch does. So I'm just living up to my name.
He's trying to get me for best voice. He's getting the best sound
I gotta
effects.
get best sound effects.
It's getting heated in here. He got the mixer too.
Yeah, I gotta get the mix
He's on
going,
every
baby.
show now.
Just let him compete. Let him compete.
Let Mooch compete.
Let Mooch compete next year.
For the love of God. No,
Let him
Jess,
compete.
great points. Great points. I gotta say, so what does it tell you? What does it tell you? I'll start with you, Red. Red, real quick. High on Life sets Xbox Game Pass record as biggest 2022 launch. So, what? I mean, does that mean that High on Life is that great, or is it that Game Pass is not that great?
I think there's a lot of combinations. Like you can argue that a lot of Xbox gamers are hungering for a game,
Right?
And like there's that game right during December, of the month of December.
Mm-hmm.
You can also argue that maybe there's a lot of Rick and Morty fans, and they freaking went out in droves and used Game Pass to play the game. Or like the thing is, I will give credit where credit is due. Is like when it comes to smaller titles, like that game probably made a lot of money when it came to Xbox offering them money, because I think that they wouldn't have done that well if they weren't on a subscription service. Because like when you come to AAA games, like they're not going to want to put their games on a service like that because they would lose out on a lot of money. So, but like I think it's a combination of multitudes of things, and I truly think like there wasn't a lot of games coming out for Game Pass, and it looked very colorful and Rick and Morty, and people I guess gravitated towards that.
Let's face it, the fan base, the Xbox fan base was starved. There was, it was really when you don't really have anything, right? And we've seen this, right? It's not just about this one game. I'm not saying the game is bad. I played I think 2-3 hours of the game. So, but what I'm saying is, the industry has, right, when I say the industry, I might as well be talking to about Sony and Nintendo, but there is a set standard of what a metric for performance that's generally in sales. And this is how we've been doing it forever. Microsoft comes out with these random metrics that it's hard to quantify. And so they say, oh, this is the fastest, just make up some of the most weirdest shit. And shout out to Benji Sales, right? Yep. He comes out, with these tweets that Microsoft put out, that it's the most, it's never the fastest selling, right? It's never the highest selling. It's never anything dealing with tangible numbers such as sales. But it makes it seem like it's just doing so well, and but the bar is so low, and they never include the information by which you can actually compare it. They remove everything that you can possibly take the numbers and compare, and they just say it's the most, they might as well say it's just the most exciting time of the year for us. That's pretty much what it's quantifying, because we can't look at any sales numbers. We can't look at any, hell, give us the download data at least. Give us the download numbers. How many people actually downloaded? Give us something to go by outside of just throwing these blanket statements out there and just artificially hyping it up and making it seem like it's just crushing everything when the game is actually free, right, in the service. It's number one in the Xbox store. You go to Xbox store, there's really nothing there, right? They hadn't released anything. So, I can release a wet fart and it will probably hit the top 5. That's just literally it. And this is it's really sad. I hate that Microsoft is they put gaming in a position like this. And it really you just kind of shake your head and you move on. And it's like, I hope it's not always like this for Xbox going forward. Hopefully, right? Because when Microsoft do put out a game, like when they put out Forza Horizon, guess what? They gave us some numbers. They gave us some tangible numbers. They said, "Oh, it's the number one selling game in the Xbox store." It sold so many. We sold 8 million copies on Steam, pre-orders on Steam. They gave us some tangible numbers to go by. But guess what? Situations like this and all the other games, you don't get any tangible numbers.
Well, it's funny. Shout out to there's a couple of super chats here I want to read and I want to address because they make some points. It's worthy of a response for sure. Shout out first of all to DC Gaming. He says, "Happy holidays, panel. Thanks for everything you do and stay safe for the holidays. Hit that like button, chat, and Merry Christmas. # keep it gaming. DC, thanks for being a part of the family, buddy. Really means a lot. The great Jimmy Harrison says, just want to say Merry Christmas to you all and God bless. Jay says, you are my brother. Thank you for keeping me laughing, bro. So shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison. Jay, you got a big fan out there.
Absolutely, brother.
Great man, by the way. Great family man. Glinzer, he says, Xbox motto, if it ain't broke, break it. That's actually pretty
man. That was a Halo motto on the box.
That might be my super chat of the year. That was very funny. Moneybag97 says, High on Life creator says games sell 7 times more because Game Pass. It's Microsoft funded, so give same energy to Sony funded games. It's better than Forspoken. So that's
absolutely
What? What?
I don't
That's
know if
crazy.
I don't know if it's better than Forspoken.
Those are very two different games. To be fair, one's a first-person shooter, the other's a third-person.
Forspoken will sell. Forspoken will sell way more. Forspoken will sell way more.
What like data points is he using to arrive at that conclusion? None. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, the game's not, Forspoken's not even out yet.
No, but they played the demo. They could basically review it now.
Yeah.
Like, listen,
I'm not how the internet rolls.
I'm not a fan of Forspoken, but like comparing the two is.
Dude, this High on Life, the cap on
Forspoken's not even out. I mean,
so let me ask you guys a question. So wait, Moneybag comes back. He says, "How can you all knock it but praise Stray?" Shake my head. How is it that? So what do you guys think when you
Stray's winning awards, bitch? Like,
yes,
right.
I don't think High on Life's gonna win any goddamn awards or anything like that. Like, this game is sitting at a 65, 68 at Metacritic. Like, this is not a world-renowned.
What do you think?
I wouldn't even entertain that super chat. Refund his money. It's the holidays, Mooch. Like, hey, God bless him.
Oh wait.
Hey, seriously, God bless him. Just refund his money.
Brap, I like this newfound.
Refund.
Yeah, I like this newfound
I got you,
term. Metacritic, low Metacritic scores don't matter anymore because look at High on Life, right? But then just merely 2 weeks prior to this game dropping out, weren't they talking crap about Callisto Protocol? They were shitting on that game, even though it was like a 76 Metacritic score because Sony engineers went and helped on the game with the cinematics or whatever.
Because everything since that has been better.
So they so it's like you shitted on Callisto Protocol for having a low Metacritic score of 76.
Metacritic score only counts when it doesn't relate to a Game Pass thing. Sales only matter and records only matter when it's Game Pass, right? That's the only time it seems to matter. All I'm asking for Microsoft, and I'm not talking about the fans. I'm not going to blame the fans because the fans
can't blame the fans.
We're
the
fans.
I'll blame them. I'll blame them.
Well, no, the reason I blame Microsoft here is they like you said, Jay. You said it a little while ago, right? They were the first. Aaron Greenberg retweeted out the VG charts. Numbers, right? So whenever it's anything positive, then numbers matter to them. But it's when they're in the last place category, or they can't sell their own games to get out of their own way. They're like, we worry more about how many people stop by, how many people hit the A button once, how many people had a ham sandwich while they were playing Halo Infinite. They care about these wacky statistics that nobody cares about, but they don't care about the real numbers. They just don't.
Well, Mooch, I think
they say they don't. Pardon me.
Well, we also need to.
They do.
Understand, like it's all investor talk too, and so Game Pass being the platform
That's
now,
true.
and like Netflix, they're going to talk about engagement numbers. So, but I'll say this, like my quick thought on the whole God, I forgot the name of the game.
High on Life.
High on Life.
I forgot the name.
That's how much I care about it. I just completely forgot about it.
So memorable.
With the fish gun,
it's gonna be a blackout after New Year's.
It reminds me of the Jeremy Johns review. Like, oops, just forgot about it.
Forgot about it.
Yeah, but my only thought of High on Life and why it was so popular. It kind of reminds me of movies that get panned by critics, and then fans go out and in droves and watch the movie, and it's popular. Like the one movie that comes to mind is Taken. Remember Liam Neeson and Taken?
Yes.
That movie was panned critically. People called it a B movie. I think Siskel and Ebert got 2 stars or whatever. But it did well in the box office. It solidified Liam Neeson as an action actor. It did. I mean, and it wasn't reviewed well. It because it did so well, it got sequels. So that's the only parallel I can draw. That maybe this is one of those games where people just like it, and people liked it, and the critics did it. But we also see critics like games and give it 90s where consumers like,
listen,
I can't believe they gave it a 90.
I'm not even getting into the Metacritic score. I don't care if this thing had a 95 or it had a 65. Mine is the whole, it broke the record for Game Pass.
But
and everybody's making it. Come on.
Well, I wanted to say with the Metacritic thing that irked me is that why are there only 23 or 25 critics reviewing this game? Like, if you look, the number of reviews is not high at all.
That's a good point as well.
And that's the thing on Metacritic.
It's not like
it's like 20 people total.
It's not like there's 27 games out and they can't get to it.
This game's on everything. It's on PC. Where's the cloud? Like on the cloud, like on phones. Like everybody has access to this stuff. It's low cost. Like, are they just selecting who could do reviews? Because it's 23 people, 25 critics on Xbox.
I don't have the article in front of me, but there was.
I saw the tweet.
You saw
with
that?
the guy saying that.
An article.
There's a tweet.
That's it.
That they were sending it out. The review codes were sent out to specific people, and then that they kind of delayed them all. And I think what happened was that when you missed the wave, people just like, I'm not going to go review it. It's already reviewed, or on Metacritic. Like, my review is not going to get the hits. So you gave me it late, so I'm not going to review it. And I think that's maybe why. Yeah. But the thing is if you look, these games that come out for Game Pass, you would think they would have so many more reviews because they don't need to wait for codes. Like, you could play the game for $1 and review it from a website. Like, I don't understand why there's such a low amount of reviews on Metacritic unless they're targeted. And if you go look at some of their games, the Microsoft Game Pass games, Game Pass games, they have very low Metacritic scores. You look at Stray has 85 reviews, like for one platform, 85 reviews and stuff like that. And this one's sitting at 23 and 24.
Yeah, that is unusual.
And one of the things I want to say about the article about this whole this celebration of this game is that, when they said it was the #1 single player game ever launched, the biggest single player game ever launched, that means that it beat out Persona 5. It beat out what is it? What the hell was it? The Plague's Tale as well. And also I was thinking Halo Infinite was the single player game released in Game Pass.
Wait, it beat up Plague's Tale?
It bleeds everything. You read the article.
If you believe what Microsoft is saying.
They said it was the biggest
Tale for me, by the way.
Single player ever. It says in Game Pass ever. So you're talking about.
I thought it was biggest third party release
in 2022.
Yeah,
and then the next sentence says you can bring up the article. It says the last sentence. It says the biggest first single player launch in Game Pass ever.
Here it is here. I have Polygon right in front of me. Squanch Games.
No, go to the Xbox Wire article. The one that they wrote on their website.
Okay, well, this one here just says Squanch Games' silly sci-fi shooter is the most popular game on Microsoft's subscription service.
No, go to their article because it will go to Xbox Wire because they hyped it up on their own website, this game. It's crazy.
Yeah, shout out to the great
as they should. But
well, coming up with things like the biggest single player launch game ever in Game Pass ever. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, that's a statement.
Shout out to
I don't disagree. That's a statement. I mean, if it is the biggest single player game, I mean, it makes you think like other single player games.
Yeah, that's
Well,
is Halo included in that?
By the way, I'd like to give a quick Mooch review here in progress.
Oh,
okay, yeah, I would like to say that High on Life is way better than Plague's Tale.
You don't want the
So there you go.
Mooch, come on.
Come on, Henry.
I'm gonna put the link in.
Mooch, can I say something?
Follow me,
You ruined that game for me, Mooch.
Follow me.
Yeah, you guys just saying. You say. Alicia, you guys are doing that. You ruined it for me.
There's the article right there.
Alicia,
I put the article on the link.
Throw me through
the
the
title.
Was that you, Mooch, or was that Jez who was doing that last week?
Throw me through the window.
That wasn't me.
That was me.
Oh yeah, Mooch, you ruined it for me because I kept thinking I want to go back and play it, but I'm like, oh no,
I ruined it for you, and I want you to know that you're welcome. I saved you a lot of time.
Hey, Santa BRAP is no presents for Mooch.
No, I'm gonna get a lump of coal.
Shout out your stockings.
Shout out to Stoney. He says, my question to Moneybag, who Moneybag was also saying the Stray comment, is how do you know how High on Life is better than Forspoken when Forspoken isn't even out yet? He said the sickness is real. It's not just, shout out to the great Zuby Tech. He says, Mooch is a man of many talents. Let Mooch compete, for God's sake.
Let him compete,
please.
I'm gonna put the quote from the article right there.
Put the quote in there, will you?
There it is, dude. Like, High on Life is the biggest Game Pass release of 2022, the biggest third-party launch in Game Pass history, and the biggest single-player game launch on Game Pass ever.
Wow.
Somebody wrote that wrong if they're just talking about 2022.
Can I say something about that?
No, go ahead, Roy.
Yeah,
Welcome to the show, but I'm glad you can make it.
The only thing that's odd about that is how did it beat out Persona 5 and Dragon Quest and Halo Infinite single player?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I mean that's so incredibly odd to me because, I mean, if you're talking about Dragon Quest, you're talking about Persona 5. Those are primarily single player and they're huge franchises. How did High on Life become the biggest single player game played ever in Game Pass history?
No, it's a valid question, Worry, and I don't know if anybody in the panel can either answer you. I don't know if anybody can answer you. It almost seems like it's made up. You know, I mean, really, when you look at the games that Worry just mentioned, you would almost think
crazy.
I hope it's made up. I hope it's made up.
I hope it's something else.
How could Dragon Quest and Persona 5 single player, huge, great JRPGs be beat out? And I finished High on Life.
And all those Final Fantasies, Worry. All those Final Fantasies, remember? They were on there too.
I hope that's a made up statistic. It sounds incredibly odd.
It does sound odd. What'd you think of High on Life? Since I'm only past the first boss.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I enjoyed the game. It's not a great shooter. There's some platforming in there that I like. I'm just a fan of platforming, so I like that gameplay element. I had a. You know what's really funny to me is last week there was an article by Tim Schafer about Psychonauts, and they were asking him about humor, and he said that humor should never offend anyone.
Yes, I saw that.
And I started to think about like Dave Chappelle talking about that. Like, it's impossible. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to tell a joke and not offend somebody. But then you have High on Life being lauded by Microsoft as this huge event, and that game could pretty much offend everybody, which I'm fine with because I love the humor in it. And I was thinking about Conquer. Like, why can't we have Conquer now?
Yep. I agree.
Absolutely.
I remember Worry, the same exact thing you said. Like, Conquer wouldn't survive in this type of environment. And I remember that's why they're not bringing the franchise back. Because when I've been asking for forever. I had a microphone. I've been asking for Conquer. That was my avatar on YouTube. Yeah. Like, I wanted a Conquer. And they were told was like, in this kind of like, everything going on, the Conquer wouldn't do well in this world. And now you see in this game with all the cursing and all the craziness and that stuff. And I'm like, it does great. I'm like, it's doing. Nobody's complaining about it. There you go. Put Conquer out there, dude.
So
where is it?
Since we're on the Game Pass topic, I'll just bring this up. There's I don't know if it's news. I don't know if it's reported. I don't know if it's guaranteed that it's happening. I think it is. There's a cheaper version of Game Pass that's on the way. Right? They're saying it's rumored to be between $3 and $5 a month. And what it'll be is it'll have ads before your game, maybe during, and definitely after. And you also won't get to play the first-party games until 6 months after they release. And people go, well, Mooch, that's great. $3 a month? That's great. And I'm like, but the sales pitch of Game Pass is the first-party games, and the ads is the first thing that everyone says they're always annoyed with on any platform or any social media space. So
it's social media.
Right? So, I mean, I don't know, Worry. What do you think?
It's got to be. I've been playing tons of retro games lately. And social media has just polluted and warped so many people because of this tie-in with YouTube and their channels. And it's so ridiculous. How in the world would you want to subscribe to a gaming anything with ads in it? You're in the middle of playing what Call of Duty multiplayer, and an ad for like something pops up on the screen and you're fine with that. So not only do you not own anything, not only are you being turned into the product, which is what subscription services do, you're the product. They're buying you. You're not buying them.
Absolutely.
And now on top of that, they're thanking you by giving you ads. This might not be a Microsoft thing only, because if this stuff catches on, then forget about it. I'm just going to be playing, NES games from now on.
You're going to click on a game, dude, and it's going to show you like a 5-minute ad, and it'll give you 30 minutes of game time. And then they'll say, now you got to watch another ad.
Yeah, I mean, I understand people don't have a lot of money and maybe this is great, like subscription services. I get that. But there's a difference between making something available to a lot of people and then nickel and diming them to death, which is what it seems like this is going to turn into.
Doesn't it look like Microsoft's making a bunch of different one-way streets and they're just leading you right to Game Pass? I'll give you an example of what I mean. They went to the $70 per game, and then they're like, well, if you don't want to pay $70, get Game Pass. Their problem solved. Ready? Hey, we've got a cheaper Game Pass, but it's got ads in it, and you're not going to get our first-party games for 6 months. Or longer. If you don't like it, though, you can get a regular Game Pass. So it's like they keep making these bad alternative decisions for their consumers, and then go, if you don't like it, you don't have to. Look, Game Pass.
I would have done the Game Pass to me would have been the 6-month thing right from launch. Just make it whatever it is, $10 or $15 a month, and say
the PC players never had the Halos and Gears games, right? They never had any of that stuff, anyways. If you came out and said Game Pass is going to have games come out in 6 months, that was a good idea because then the hardcore, the diehard fans they're not going to wait 6 months. They're going to go buy the game. Then if they want, but if you have people that go, screw that, I'm not paying $70. I'll just wait the 6 months. I'll get it in Game Pass. They should have done that. They know they should have done that. They literally, they blew their load too quick. They messed. They went out there. They gave it all away, and now they're trying to step back slowly.
Well, you got to consider that they knew at the time when they came out Game Pass that they didn't have any games. So it was selling the service.
Studios
with no new games, right? With no new games, it was all about you can play thousands of games or hundreds of games for this price. But everybody's like, yeah, that's great, but there's no games in there I want to play because it's all old. But to a lot of people, that was their filler until they. Even right now, it's still a filler until they get games, right? It's still a filler.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really is.
And, I was gonna say it's but this is also why Game Pass isn't like. I don't disagree. There's a value proposition for people with Game Pass.
Absolutely, there is.
But I mean, there's also a reason why 29 million people out of I forget if you think of the entire install base between PC, Game Pass Ultimate, and the Xbox One and the Series X consoles or the Series consoles. I mean, there's a reason why that the adoption is not 100% because not everyone sees value in that, and some people just want to buy their games. Day one.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think a lot of people forget that in the Xbox community that look, not everyone sees the value that you see, and that's okay. And we know that because it's the adaption's not 100%. People still want to buy their games. They don't want to wait, and that's fine. I mean, people are going to buy what they want. So.
No, I agree with you. Good points there, BRAP. Shout out to. Go ahead. I was going to just hit a couple super chats.
Oh, good.
Jez, I'll give you the mic right after. Much love to you and the guys. Shout out to WoolleyGamer. Wooly, I know it's late over there.
Wooly!
Shout out to Wooly, our butcher in the gaming community. Great to have Wooly here with us.
What time is it? Is it like midnight over there, Wooly?
It's 5 hours ahead.
He's probably taking care of his baby, man. That baby keeps him up.
It's 1:30 in the morning where Wooly is. So God
Wooly,
bless him.
Hey, let me see. Wooly's one of the nicest guys that I've met in Twitter, man. He really
Wooly
is.
He's a wonderful gamer and also great person in the gaming community since day one. Yeah. Shout out to Wooly and the family. Shout out to Mrs. Wooly as well, who says she always listens to the show. So I appreciate that. That means the world to me. Thank you. Jeff
now,
B,
Mooch, if I could get my wife to listen to Crossfire, it'd be amazing.
Well, she'd be like, "Why is this guy yelling? What's the point of yelling?"
No, she's actually heard you like when we talk on like Discord, and she's like, "He's loud." I'm like, well, I mean, it's Mooch.
What is going on?
And she's like, "You're loud when you talk to him." I'm like, "Yeah, because I got to talk over him."
Yeah, you
got to overpower him.
It's true. Red, when he's talking to me on Discord, he's literally yelling as well, and it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I feel bad I'm doing that to his family.
You know what's funny, man? Like, we talk early in the morning on Discord. Dude, it's full on Crossfire.
It is Crossfire. That's why he gets my blood pressure up. I'm like, the show's not for another 10 hours here, Brap. You're killing me. I'm going to need a B12 shot. Shout out to Jeff B Gaming. He says, high on life equals snakes on a plane. Jeff, not a fan. Jeff, not a fan.
I like that movie. It was a good movie. I like it.
Yeah, it was good music too, man. Cobra Starship. Kiss me goodbye.
Oh my God.
Babor Code 3's here. The show can begin. Shout out to Babor. He says, Brap twisting into pretzels for X Merry Christmas. Not sure what he means, but Babor, it's always great to have you here.
I think Babor drinks a lot, by the way, so I'm just going to chalk that up to that.
It's possible, but I encourage that.
Babor,
Good for Babor.
Babor, Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Yes, Merry Christmas to Babor. Shout out to Moneybag is back. He says it's because gaming has changed. I think he means we're old. Might be Moneybag.
That's from Conquer, yeah.
Yeah, that may be the case.
So right,
but even if not Conquer, bring back a Banjo-Kazooie. You know,
he don't care.
Absolutely, a Banjo-Kazooie game would be good.
There are certain games that and I understand developers want to make money. I get that, but I feel like you rally the base a little bit. We've been asking for Mech Assault and
Mech Assault 2, baby. Oh my god, I love that.
You know, Crimson Skies, but they give us Crimson Skies, the Xbox version, and Game Pass. I'm like, I don't want that.
No,
with no online.
Years ago,
no online. I was like, what the
new IP, please. Shout out to Rice79. I haven't seen Rice since the MNC days. So shout out to Rice. Good to see him here. He says, let's be honest. You in parentheses, pardon me, gamers are the problem. You paid for Microsoft services before they delivered anything. You're already paying them, and they delivered nothing. By the way, Rice, outstanding.
I don't agree with that, by the way.
Well, you could say you don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it.
But there's a part of it, BRAP, that there's a lot of truth to it, and I'm guilty too.
Well, okay. You know what? Okay. Yeah. I guess I see the point, but...
I mean, he's just basically saying, listen, Microsoft... I've said this on the show, right? Microsoft has promised first-party games. That's the big selling point, right? There's other great little nuances in Game Pass too, but
yeah,
the first party is the selling point, right?
I don't disagree. I mean, that's why I signed up for Game Pass.
We talk about this, BRAP. We talk about this all the time. You go to a steak restaurant, right? Beautiful steakhouse. The steak is that's the sales point. That's the sales. The bread, the pesto, maybe the great wine list. These are all great things.
The wine list is always a selling point for BRAP. A big surprise.
It is a big selling point for me as well, but the steak is what got you in there. The problem is Microsoft's got the bread. They got pesto, right? They have an okay server, but they got no steak. There's no steak.
But the other thing is they don't have a year subscription either. They don't have a year subscription.
We're getting full on bread.
I call Peekaboo Gaming, dude. Olive Garden. Oh no, man!
Don't
tell an Italian Olive Garden. Get the hell out of here. That.
I gotta ask you a quick
those are curse words.
Those are curse words.
Those are curse words.
Especially during the holidays.
Especially
during the holidays.
Jez, I have a quick question for you, Jez. As an Italian, is it true, like a real? And I actually asked Mooch the same question.
Yes, about 7 fishes. Oh no!
What?
Never mind.
No. I was gonna ask you
he doesn't know.
That's tomorrow. He doesn't know about tomorrow. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I've heard true Italian restaurants don't serve garlic bread. Is that true?
They don't.
No, they don't serve garlic bread. They'll do a garlic knot, maybe some of them, but they don't do no garlic bread.
You get oil on the table.
I spiced that thing up, man. I add some salt, you add a little bit of black pepper, some Parmesan cheese into the oil, and you dip it in the oil, man. I make it from I eat that.
I'm good with just the oil, a splash of the balsamic that they put there. I dip
I do the balsamic. I just do a little salt and Parmesan cheese in there. It's good.
But to answer BRAP's question, you don't go to a legit Italian restaurant and they hand you a loaf of garlic bread.
Oh no. And they don't say and they don't say unlimited salad either. You get a little salad to clean your palate before you eat that.
Yeah, that's how you know it's authentic, right?
There's no unlimited tossing of the salad.
There's no unlimited salad tossing.
There's no tossing.
Oh, you do bruschetta. That's right, Chad. You get bruschetta. You get now we're talking.
All right.
It's so great.
I was just wondering.
Great.
I was going to say about the cheaper Game Pass thing, but I'm going to say something too about the. I think also what Sony did this year. I said this earlier on the other. I don't know what my show is. I said it earlier, so if people hear it again. But the thing about the tiers is, I think that what Sony did with its tiers really it showed the antiquity of Xbox model right now with Game Pass. It looks like they are so old and behind. You got to get Xbox Live in order to play some games, and Game Pass Online. You could buy Game Pass for $10 and not play Sea of Thieves because you don't have Xbox Live, so you need to pay $15. It is all piecemeal. Then Sony putting its stuff together in the tier has shown, even for the $60 value for 1 year, has really put pressure on Microsoft's Games with Gold sucks. That's gone. I don't know what the hell's going on with that thing. But they got to rebrand their whole Xbox Game Pass with tiers. And I think cheaper Game Pass with some ads. I think what they're going to do, and I listened to Brad Sams, he was like, Microsoft wants the base $15 a month. They want to get all those people on fair $5 Xbox Live and upgrade them to the $15 a month package. And that's kind of what they're going to do. Now, maybe for the people that want to stay on Xbox Live for $60 a year, you get the cheaper Game Pass ad-filled one. They piss the shit out of you so much on the cheaper tier that they want you to just upgrade to $15 a month. So maybe that's their goal, is to get all these people with games with gold, those people, and try to get them upgraded by throwing ads at them to get them up there. And the thing is like they really, and then I knew that they were gonna, like you said, they made a commitment to games they never had. And this day one everything really was too early, too soon. They made commitments before they even had the studios and the games in development. Yeah. They're just like, everything we ever will and ever will make and ever will do in the future and forever, ever. It's going to be day one. It's ever? Ever. I'm like, what? Everything? You're committing everything? I'm like, then that sucks, because guess what? Every game that you're going to make has to be now fit into this model. And that's why I always like Sony's approach, where some games go in the service, some games go there. A game gets built for what the game is, not for the delivery mechanism.
Yeah, no, you have a better idea of what you're getting with Sony's tiers. You do.
Exactly. You know what you're getting, and you know that Sony's going to put like a stray in there.
Look how good just the essentials are. The essential, that's the bottom
Oh my god,
tier.
That thing killed.
Next month is rumored. Next month is rumored to have the Star Wars.
Dude, that's the base. No,
yeah,
that's the base one.
It's the essentials. Yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah, it's the essentials. It's the Xbox Live.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Xbox Live. It's their essentials. Just have online. You're going to get the Star Wars. What is it? Their
Star Wars, the PS5, PS4 version of the
Survivor's the new one. It's the other one, Fallen, whatever. Fallen Jedi or whatever. But you get two other great games like this. But you're getting AAA games, BRAP. You're not getting that in the other retrospect.
Games are gold.
Yeah, you know what? I just want to say something about like subservices. Like I realize that they're just not for me. Like whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, like I'm just not using
their backup plans, dude. For me,
like I'm just not like I am not using subscription services to play. On occasion, I will, but there's so much like new stuff coming out.
I know. I buy it or play it or get it on sale.
Yeah, it's like I'm backlogged. I don't need a subservice, and like I've come to that realization this year that
it never should have been.
Not for me. They're just not.
Yeah, and that's the problem, Rap. Like this whole thing, like this whole subservice is being like replacing what we do. Like when they launched it, everybody was making it that, hey, this is the future of gaming, and now you see Microsoft, even Phil Spencer's backing off on like, hey, you'll still buy games, and we wanted to live with cloud, and now he's talking about this whole thing, but it's like, dude, you basically cannibalized any opportunity for people to buy games on your platform because you coached them not to buy games. You didn't do
right.
Yeah, you didn't. You went in balls. You went in too fast. And then basically now you're trying
balls deep.
I know. I thought it was the holiday show. I thought it was the holiday show. But
you meant ornament balls.
BRAP took. That's right. They took the ornament balls deep. They put too many balls on the tree without the tree.
And the tree tipped over.
That's right. The tree tipped over. But like that's the thing. Like they basically went all in too fast, and now they're trying to pull back. Going, hey, you could still buy games and live in the cloud and play here. And it's like you can't go back once you did this. Like unless you rebrand stuff and do another higher level, saying, "Hey, our day one games. Now that we got them, these big AAA games, and we bought all these studios. Now it's a $17 or $20 tier to get those games on day one.
Yeah.
The $15 one will get the traditional, single play games, but our first party is going to be in its new platinum tier, and there you go. Let's see."
I would be excited for like subservices if I was getting like, and this is me, like if I was getting AAA games day and date, like it would make sense for me. But I'm not getting that, and I think if someone's looking for like a catalog of games that they could just have access to, and they want that that access, I get it, but it's just not for me. Like and that just like if I'm looking at like my usage of subservices this year and what I bought, I'm buying more games now than I ever did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And and then I'm buying games that I'm putting in the backlog,
Yeah.
that I intend to play, and I just don't get to.
But a lot of us are in that category. And that's the hardcore. When it comes down to the casual buys 2-3 games a year. They don't need to spend $180 a year. They're like, I don't play those games. I don't even know what those games are. Go ask somebody that just plays NBA 2K and just plays Call of Duty. Ask them how they're enjoying High on Life. They're like, High on what?
They don't want 250 games.
High on who?
They don't want that stuff.
What?
And
nobody wants that many choices. Like they just
who
don't.
wants all those games?
Like Mooch, like you said, like some people like want to go to the steakhouse and get a steak. They don't want the buffet with the chicken fingers and the mashed potatoes. And,
and the problem is
and
Microsoft
the runny rice pudding.
And really, I got to give credit where credit's due. You got to give it to Rice 79. The point of the matter is Microsoft's been selling us a steakhouse. And we've been only getting the bread and the salad. I mean, that's just what it is.
That's right. The unlimited salad.
It's unlimited salad.
The garlic bread?
Yes, it is. And it's actually garlic bread.
It's not even garlic bread. It's bread sticks.
Bread sticks.
I can't believe you're going to Italian restaurants with garlic bread.
No, right, Brad? You better not.
I mean, I live outside Washington, D.C.
There's some nice restaurants, I'm sure.
There's got to be some Italians.
I've been to Italian restaurants in Baltimore that don't, like Little Italy, that don't do that.
We've made it to Washington. I think we've made it that far. I'm pretty sure there's a few of us there.
Oh my God.
I would hope.
Olive Garden, man, that grinds my gears. That place, I see the lines out the door. I'm like, are you kidding? I think they have like something like Italian tacos there or something like that. I'm like, what the hell is that? Italian tacos? Look, yeah, it's Italian and tacos. So Italian tacos.
Oh my God. Hey, Chaz, if I ever meet you in person, I'm taking you to Olive Garden.
No, I'm sitting in the car, man. But I'm
gonna record it too on video, do like a YouTube short.
So wait, let me.
My face. You know the commercial where it's like you're with family and everybody's smiling, dude. I look like I just shit myself at that place. I'm so mad if I had to walk into that place.
That's hilarious. That's too funny.
So I got a couple of super chats I want to read here, and then I want to ask you guys a question. And it is going back to the PlayStation side here, and it is a question. They've been getting a little bit of heat. So shout out to Rob Jones. He says, hope everyone has a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. Rob, thank you as well for being a Mooch Man family member, and thank you for those kind words. Reggie Skull says, Xbox trying to bottom out console gaming and completely cheapen the hobby. So sad. Reggie, we'll see if that is what ends up happening. I want to see what happens to Game Pass and Xbox once some of these games start coming out in 23. That's when we can actually judge that. And then the great WoolleyGamer's back. He says, guys, quit making me blush. Shout out to Wooly. We mean everything, Wooly. You're a great guy in the community. Great to have you here.
Hey.
Appreciate you being here this late, too. And Rice79's back. He says, a reminder, Phil promised 4 to 5 AAA games every year, March 2020. This was after
I think that was Matt Booty, by the way.
Well, I think it was Matt Booty. So let me say this much, BRAP, and I think you'll agree with me because the one thing that we always agree on is chain of command. If Matt Booty is saying that is, if it wasn't taken back the next day, then it means it is approved by leadership. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's coming. I know. It's
Matt Booty is. If Matt Booty tells us something in the world of gaming, it's just as good as Phil saying it. Really. I mean,
they should have never said that. By the way, they should have never said. You could expect, a AAA release every.
They would like to get there. Again, it's the would like. My target is we're targeting. It was said like that. They never committed to it. They said we would eventually get there. We would like to.
But even then, it's like you get excited.
Damn.
You know what I mean? It's like
I know. Well, they shouldn't say anything. I agree.
It's like the Giants saying we want Danny Dimes to be a Pro Bowler. You're like, yeah, Danny Dimes to be a Pro Bowler.
Damn.
It's like,
oh, jeez. By the way, if Super Timestamps is listening to the show or Cheat Mods, Jacob has a recommendation. He says, Mooch, could you timestamp the food references, please? So if we could add the food references to the timestamp.
You definitely have to do that, Mooch.
But I want to read the rest of Rice's. He made a great point here. 79. He says, this was after their 2018 Ninja Theory Playground Games, Undead Labs, Compulsion Games, The Initiative, Obsidian, In Exile, Boast. 5 years. Shout out to Rice79. Really outstanding. The great Fabrice. Fabrice, thank you for the Christmas gift. That's very nice of you. He says, Fabrice, he says, just want to thank all the panel members for giving us such great entertainment through this year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Happy Game Year. Pardon me. Fabrice, thank you so much for that, buddy. That is awfully kind and warms the heart.
Fabrice is always leaving me nice comments on my videos. Thank you.
Fabrice is he's been a huge supporter for a very long time. Outstanding individual.
Yeah,
Thank you, Fabrice.
Fabrizo. I call him Fabrizo.
I do want to ask you guys a question because I'm in the market. So not only am I going to be the host and ask the question, but then I'm going to go ahead and really take what you guys have to say. Jay, you buy everything: Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC. Like Jay had a 4090 before the 4090 was announced. Okay, Jay, quick question for you. A, are you buying the DualSense Edge? Dumb question. Of course you are. But number two, do you have a problem with the reports that are coming out that it's going to have a slightly less battery than already the DualSenses we have that are already maybe 3 to 4 to 5 hours per charge? I mean, are you okay with this being a pro controller and having less juice?
Yeah. Listen, it includes actual cable because most pros, they want to play hardwired to lower the latency. Also, it has a cable lock on there. But here's the thing. The controller is the same size, right? It's the same exact size as a regular DualSense.
That's right.
It has way more functionality. You're able to swap out parts, you're able to do all this stuff. It still has the rumble, all the haptic feedback, all that stuff is still in there. Why are people surprised? If let's say that if that's the case, because Sony never came out and said this. So let's say it's the case. Why are people upset about it? It's a $200 controller. It's a pro controller. The scuffs cost $250. They don't come with rumble in the controller. They don't even give you that option. They come with a braided cable as well to lock the thing in place. This target is for people on the more the pro level, the esports level. Casual people that just go out and buy controllers, I don't see them having a reason to buy this controller.
It's not for people who go to Olive Garden.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing, and
I just want to go on record. I don't go to Olive Garden, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
That is a lie, bro. You got to get the breadsticks.
But Mooch, I did tell you this before the show.
Go ahead, Jay.
How you mess up breadsticks and salad?
That was really just the flavor of the week, fake outrage. I mean, every week we got to be outraged about something, and that was just the flavor of the week. Now, here's the thing: they didn't say how much less battery that you would get.
No,
they didn't say how many hours. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 30 minutes. But people ran with it. You know why? Because everyone has to have some type of fake outrage.
That's right.
It is what it is.
No, you're 100% right. They didn't give an actual number at all. I myself personally want one. I've got 2 Xbox Elite version 2s. I use them. They have their own problems, which we've documented a number of times. Mm-hmm. This one here, I want to get it. And here's the thing. I actually looked into and watched a lot of reviews on the I believe it's called the Razer Wolverine 2 Pro controller for Sony. And the problem I have with that is I'm not paying $250 when it doesn't give you it doesn't have the haptic feedback. It doesn't have the triggers. It doesn't have the lights. It doesn't have the microphone. It does have the lights, pardon me, but it doesn't have the microphone. It doesn't have the speaker. Like, that's why I like the DualSense.
Absolutely.
So So I was like, no, I'm not going to get that, and that's when I pre-ordered my DualSense Edge. Go ahead, Brap.
Mooch, I'm glad you brought that up, by the way, because you were addressing this issue that tends to happen a lot on Twitter, that people use conjecture to arrive to a final conclusion regarding a product. Like, we only know about the battery life, and I'm not saying that, like, look, if you have an issue with the battery life, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have it. Like if your expectation is, you know what, if I'm paying $200 for something, you should be have more battery life. I get that, but also be aware of the other options out in the market right now.
Right.
And then also be aware that a lot of people are coming to a conclusion that this thing is terrible without any like final product review either. Like, this thing is still in preview. Like, we don't know like what the actual and we actually don't know what the actual battery life, the difference in the battery life between the DualSense and the DualSense Edge is. It's moderately
less. That's what Jay's saying. We don't even have a
number. But what does moderately mean? Moderately means slightly less by definition. So is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour? We don't know.
Yeah.
And so the problem that I have is when people arrive to conclusions based on conjecture, and they're saying, "Oh, this thing's terrible. It's bad." It's like, okay, but you only have morsels of information. You don't have the full picture. You can't make that judgment, and that's the problem that I have.
Yeah.
And also, like what JuJu said, like it's this is a niche product. It's for an addressable market that wants a alternative, that wants a first party alternative for a Pro Controller on PlayStation 5. And like you said, Mooch, like you mentioned the Wolverine, it's $250. It doesn't have.
It's missing a lot of features.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so it's for those people. And so you know what? It's not for you. And Sony knows that. You know, and so I just don't look. I heard someone say that that this thing was that Sony was effing you over with the price. It's like, you know what? If you feel that way, it's not for you. You're not the addressable market. Okay. But let's not like just because you feel that way, don't that doesn't mean the rest of the market or the people that are interested like feel the same way as you. And that's the problem on Twitter. Like people take how they feel about a certain product or a certain price point on a product and they try to extrapolate that to the rest of the market. And that's not how it works. I mean, like, if it's not for you, that's fair. You know, but don't
Brad,
go ahead, man.
Here's the thing. I've saw people use this controller offering to justify on why you should buy an Xbox over a PlayStation, even though Xbox has no games.
Yeah, I mean, they're
literally trying to use that as a talking point.
I don't understand that. I mean, that's like that goes back to the whole garlic bread thing.
In the search for L's or the search for W's, all they get are L's. They try to jump on something so quickly to say this is the moment. This is our moment where we pivot. We change everybody. Say hate PlayStation, love Xbox. It's not gonna happen, dude, without games. So like, stop trying to grab at straws here to think that like they try to do with $70 games. They're robbing you. They're robbing you with the PSVR 2 robbery.
How about we're not talking about
robbery?
But
that's the problem. People
it is a problem. It sucks. People
take people. It's like the people that go to Olive Garden.
There you go. They're the ones that have the shits the next morning and say it's good Italian food.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
Not me. I go, there you go.
Know, we're not even talking about the what about the ingenuity that went into this product, though? There's a lot of people that have a problem with.
Did you watch the video, Mooch, on the dashboard? Yes. Dude, like, do you see how much they integrated this thing into the operating system where you could change everything?
Well, that's
it got me sold on it. I'm like, whoa!
That's my point. The people that were like really upset about this, the battery. It's like,
but you can also remove.
They touch a DualSense.
You can remove.
You can tell they didn't read their. Yeah, you can, but they didn't read the previews. The previews were very positive.
You can remove the thumbsticks, which are usually the most faulty part when you get like stick drift or anything like that, or dead zones. You can get those parts replaced for $20. You don't have to pay a whole nother $200. They don't look at that. There's the two buttons that are on the front that Jez was just alluding to. I did watch that. You can check. You can push the button and change what the D-pad does. You can push the button and change what the other buttons do in menus, and it's very.
You could change and the analog. Do you see the triggers too? You could adjust the tension for those games and set up those profiles for specific games. So actually, the game when you're playing a racing game, you want the full part of the whole trigger to go all the way down. But when you're playing a shooting game or a fighting game, you may just want it to do the hairline trigger where it just it stops halfway. So like, even I thought a fighting game was Street Fighter coming out, if you're not going to use an arcade stick, using the triggers suck as a third option for heavy or light. Yes. And if you could just use those as they just lock in, they feel just like a typical button.
They feel they'll feel more like a mechanical button than an analog.
Yes, so you could change that for specific games instead of the profile. Like, I was really impressed in what they showed, how it integrated with the operating system.
Besides J-Dub and myself, Jez, Red, Worry, BRAP, are any of you guys maybe in the market for the Edge or no?
I might be. I might be. But not right now, though. I got the VR.
I'm not Mooch because, honestly, this is like a precision controller, and it's for people that want to play,
you can use it on PC.
That require precision, shooters. And I don't play enough shooters to warrant that purchase. But
okay, no, there's no wrong answer here. There's no wrong answer.
You don't need this controller for God of War, throw Kratos' axe. You don't need that. This is for people playing COD or playing
exactly.
shooters.
That's true.
Playing, what about
games, now, Red? Let me ask Red Hood. Red, are you buying this thing? I could see this being in your wheelhouse.
The problem with the DualSense Edge was just the battery life in general. That's the issue for me.
So the battery bugs you? That's not. Would you? Because like I do agree with
You want
J-Dub.
to see the
A
feature.
lot of times I actually think that when I'm using my Elite controller, not when I use the ones that come in the box, but like a Elite controller or with this one here, I'll generally play with it like plugged in. You know what I mean? For even better response time.
I buy two controllers and just have them both charging.
Can I ask
Yeah,
Red a quick question?
that too.
Like Red's talking about like the battery life being the issue, and so Red, do you project that being an issue like to the rest of the consumer base?
I don't think it's going to affect everybody else, but for me overall, I'm just not.
But by the way,
in
that is my point. By the way, like each user case is going to be different, which is what I've been trying to explain on Twitter.
But you know,
I'm sorry,
one.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if you're still going, but what I was gonna say is like I think what Red's trying to say, and this is Red, you can let me know if I'm wrong, but like it would be nice if it was a bullet point that it was a feature of this console of this control that hey, it has longer battery life than the traditional DualSense, like a bullet point that they did it. But and you know, listening to that video, they did say they wanted to keep it the same shape and everything as that. So maybe they couldn't fit a bigger battery in. I don't know, but but I think that was the thing.
Actually, it would require actually a bigger controller to
a bigger controller, and heavier weight and stuff like that. So that's probably why. But I agree because knowing with this controller, and also too the thing about the PlayStation, the DualSense is that the battery life is very varying depending on how much haptics and stuff that you use. You use a Call of Duty game you have all that stuff vibrating.
And the mic feature and plugging your
and
headset
the mic feature and the headphones. Exactly.
Well,
and you're using all those haptic feedbacks and the analog resistive triggers and you're shooting and stuff. The battery's going to die.
See, I'm not.
But you got to understand the standard that a lot of these people are coming from with this is based on the Xbox controller, which is the oldest design, the lowest of tech, right?
That makes so much noise. From the Fisher Price.
Yeah, but there's no advanced tech in it. It's just a plain Jane. And there's really no games that really
batteries. Like a
exactly.
remote.
So when you don't have tech in it, if you got just a stripped down controller, of course the battery life is going to have. But with the PlayStation controller, you got all this stuff going on, all this tech, like you said, the built-in microphone and haptic feedback and all this stuff. Of course it's going to use more battery.
Can I real quick, Mooch? I'm sorry. I want to address something in the live chat
Sure.
here. Serenity says 3 hours is a joke. Serenity, we don't know the battery life.
Yeah, they made that up.
Serenity did also say he liked Olive Garden, so I don't. He's not my fan.
This is the issue I have. This is like the problem that I have. Like Serenity heard a certain podcaster say 3 to 4 hours based on whatever his user time was for the DualSense, based on Sony saying that it's marginally less. Dude, like, you can't say 3 hours. It's not confirmed.
Right.
Like seriously, like stop it. Like that's the part that drives me crazy. Like,
well, the other thing is, can we talk
running around with a number?
Can we talk about the technology that's in this thing too? And I see, shout out to a few people I see in there. They go, well, Mooch, it should be more battery life for a premium cost. Well, you can go to Outback Steakhouse and you can get a steak for $20 and it'll be the size of the plate. But then you timestamp this. But then you go to a steak restaurant that's really elite, right? And you're getting like a 6-ounce piece of meat that costs way more than that. You're like, Mooch, I can go to Outback Steakhouse and get a full plate of steak. Yeah, you can, right? But that's not the case. There's a lot of things. We just got done saying the 10 different items that are unique to the DualSense Edge, and it's really
we don't know the difference in battery life.
We also don't know that. Yeah, we don't know.
It could be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and again, everyone's user case. Each user case is going to be different.
Yeah.
Some people will be like, you know what? I game for 6 hours straight.
X-Hawk says
that's not an option for me.
He says use Sony shills. X-Hawk, let me say something to you real quick, okay, buddy? I'm a big fan of X-Hawks. He's here every week. I appreciate it. But I have 2 Xbox Elite V2s, and I had 2 of the original Xbox Elites. I had to send those things back so many times. When I got my first one, the RB button literally was stuck in. Like, it was just stuck in. I couldn't get the damn thing to pop out.
Those RB buttons.
Right? They were the worst ever, right? Then the triggers got stuck. Then there was the dead drift. The dead,
I had the rubber coming off.
The rubber
Pause.
came off.
The rubbers.
The rubbers came off. Pause. Right.
The rubbers.
Off the grip. Right.
The rubbers were coming off.
So
I had 5 controllers after that. I'm like, what the hell happened? I got 5 controllers.
So my point is, my point to X-Hawk is, listen, you don't have to like agree with us, but you know the shit is on both sides of the coin. You know what I mean? So like, it's not necessarily like one company's just doing something glamorous and giving you something for almost free, and the other one is charging you and they're giving you less. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, I've been a consumer on both ends of this, and you know what they say, buy and beware. I have no problem saying that I really probably shouldn't have bought 2 of the V2 controllers. They're okay, but again, it's what Jay said. What has the V2 really brought that the V1 didn't have? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, really? You know?
More.
What did it bring?
They charged you twice for the same thing, essentially.
Basically.
It didn't have the share button either because they came out the new control with the share button, right? The V2 doesn't have it, even though it's an appendix and nobody uses it. But
right, you can make one of the buttons, right? You can reprogram it to have it.
Yeah,
but no, it doesn't come with its standard. No. So you know, it's
by the way, X-Hawk's point, like it has 40 hours of battery life. That is just a standard that the manufacturer gives you, but it's not across the board. It depends on like usage, you know, like
right.
like how much like
Wow, that would have been my whole year of Xbox wrapped.
Yeah,
48 hours. Holy shit, pause.
I mean, if you like battery life and you're saying that's a selling point, that's great, but it also doesn't do what the DualSense does. And if you want to relegate everything that the DualSense does to a gimmick, then you're just uninformed when it comes to using it and playing games with it. I mean, you choose. You know, you want more battery life, fine. But I'm not like, for instance, I played a game recently that used that speaker. What was the game I was just playing?
The Callisto Protocol, I heard, uses it really good.
Callisto Protocol is absolutely so much better of a game with the haptic feedback and the controller. You don't need that speaker or the haptic feedback. And yes, you can get 40 hours of battery life. That's fine. But if you have both systems and you play the game with the DualSense controller, it is a better experience. You don't have to buy it, but to relegate it to some, you know, trash bin because it's not 40 hours of battery life. By the way, I don't get 40 hours of battery life with my Series X controller. The only controller that I get, you know, it seems like 8 months worth of battery life is the Nintendo Pro controller.
Yes.
It is one of the better controllers that no one talks about.
That is a good one.
I think the DualSense is arguably, in my opinion, the best controller out of the two in terms of just giving you a new experience if you're looking for that new experience.
Yeah, you know what's cool about the DualSense in Horizon Forbidden West, when you're using the speaker, like sometimes I have headphones on, but when I played without my headphones on, you know, when you shoot an arrow, you hear it from, like, they have a specific sound that comes out of the speaker of the controller and goes to the TV. So, like, when you shoot it, you hear it go from like your controller, and you feel it too. Go from the controller, and it ends up in the TV. Like you hear the thump.
You know, you can't say that
it's pretty awesome. It's immersive. It's pretty cool.
Between the DualSense and the 3D audio, it's amazing. Go ahead.
What's pretty awesome that a lot of, and this is again one of those things that isn't a big deal, but no one really uses it that much. It's like when I'm streaming sometimes, and I don't feel like putting that headset on. You can literally just talk. And your voice is picked up with the speaker through the controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound as good as using a good headset, but it works and it's just fun.
No, there's times where I'm playing Warzone or I'm playing just goof, and I don't have my headset on. I'm literally I crank the volume up on the TV, and I still like the proximity chat. I can hear it come through my Sony's my controller. I can hear people talking, and it's like they can hear me too. So it's like, I don't have to put the headset on. I don't always want to wear a headset when I'm gaming. Sometimes I just want to kick back, relax. I'm just chilling. Yeah, no, it doesn't mean I'm playing my best round, but I'm probably going to have fun. I'm just enjoying myself. But like what Rory's saying is it legitimately is an option that's really cool. So again, if you only have one console, like Rory said, it doesn't really matter with Callisto Protocol. If you only have an Xbox, then you're just fine. But if you have an Xbox Series X and you have a PlayStation 5, and then you find out that for the same dollar amount, you can actually get more of these perks because you have a DualSense, well, you're foolish not to try it at least once to see if you like it. And I will tell you, it is game-changing when you go to click on something you pick up, whether it be a memo or a document, and normally it would be read through your TV. but
What about
instead
breadsticks?
it's
Does
the
it pick up
character.
breadsticks?
It's the character reading it through your microphone on the controller. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
the speaker,
immersive, right? It changes it.
It's a louder speaker than the PS4 one, and they use it
Much,
really
yes.
effectively.
Yeah.
And you know, the other cool thing is that it's basically your headset out of the box. Like with the Xbox, you used to get headsets in the box. You don't get a headset in the box. You gotta go use your headphones. The Sony one, when it comes with it, it gets you the controller, the microphone, and the chat. Like you have a chat right there in your controller.
Yeah.
And I really like the speaker in the sense because with the 3D audio, they don't just have like something that's coming out of your speakers of the TV, just come to the controller. Specific audio comes out of that controller that immerses you into the game. Like you'll have somebody like Mooch was saying, read it. You'll be walking around. You'll hear the surround of everything else coming out of your speakers.
Yeah.
But then in your controller, it's reading you dialogue of a thing that you picked up, which is crazy because it's like it's just another level of immersion.
Even
and
in
again,
even God of War, when you got on the sleigh with the two
here's
dogs that
something
are
else.
pulling
In
you,
God of
you,
War,
can, you can hear the chains
no,
on your
no.
hand.
yeah.
In the part in God of War where you're with your wife and she's painting the tree with her hand,
Yes.
and you're putting the paint on her hand, and you have to brush the pad, and you actually feel like you're touching her hand and wiping across of it.
It's cool.
Wiping across it with that paint. It's I guess you could say it's a gimmick, right?
It's a nuance, but
to me, it's so much more of an experience because I'm actually like almost reaching into the game and touching. I know it sounds corny, but I enjoy stuff
immersion.
like that. I like that stuff.
I love
it
immersion.
puts you into the game more. It gets you more immersed into the game, and that's what Sony has been trying to sell with the 3D, and the 3D audio is amazing.
Oh,
I mean,
incredible!
It's insane, and it's again another small thing that if you don't have a PlayStation, you're like, oh, I don't need that. I'm not saying you need it, but I'm telling you, you're kind of missing out on some really cool shit.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You know, you can take that at face value. I do want to ask you guys a question. So here's
in VR. Oh my God, VR 2 with it.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Oh, my Holy Spirit.
So
it's gonna be incredible. And the DualSense with it.
I have to bring
God.
it up. I'll make it as quick as possible. It's already 9:15 here in New York, so I don't want to keep these guys too much longer. But this is an interesting thing. Again, week in and week out, I almost don't want to bring it up, but because Microsoft continues to bring it up, I'm going to bring up the FTC thing again. You know, here they are again. Microsoft. I don't know if they're doing more harm than good. Every time they're pitching something to the FTC, they're showing how bad they are at gaming. And I don't, right? These things don't go away.
Yeah.
So even if they get the Activision deal, this is stuff that people are going to be putting in print against them for years. So I don't know what the hell's going on. But yeah, so what do you guys think here? I'm not even going to get into that. If you guys want to, I'll start with you, Jez, because I know you're very opinionated on it. But really, my question to you is, you know what's going on. They've reiterated again that they're in third place, that Sony and Nintendo have way more exclusives than they do. This is the reason they need to compete. But if the Activision deal truly does fall through, what is Xbox's next move, Jez? Like, how would they compete without Activision? Can they? I think they can.
I think they can, like, because they did it without Activision before. Like this whole thing with this exclusive stuff, it's like they should buy the stuff and make exclusive games. Like that is the thing. And what I hope is if this thing doesn't go through, that they kind of have that moment that they had with Xbox when it started, when they tried to go buy Nintendo to get legitimacy in video gaming, and Nintendo laughed them out the house. After headquarters.
That is insanity.
And when
That's
Microsoft went back,
they thought they could do that.
Yeah, well, that's what they thought. And then Robbie Bach, right from that video, goes, we were like, oh, guys, we got to do this ourselves. And I want that revelation again with this. Like, I want the kibosh put on these acquisitions, because this seems to be their kind of scapegoat to stay relevant in the news and kind of be like, hey, we're in gaming too. And I wanted to put the kibosh, and I want them to look inside to them, each one of them, and go, guys, enough is enough. We got to do this ourselves. Like, we got to get this thing. If this is really what we want to be, we got to do it. And I said Game Pass will live and die. Cloud is going to live and die by Microsoft first-party games. Yeah. And I'm hoping that this doesn't go through. I think it's going to go through. I don't think. And then I think what's going to happen is when this looks like it's going to go through, you're going to get your traditional Phil Spencer or Satya going, we're not done yet. And it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going, because they realize this is their news cycle. They like the ink wasn't even wet. What company do you know? The ink is not even wet on the Bethesda deal to see if that $7 billion was even going to make a buck. and they already spending $70 billion on this thing. They're just trying to scoop up everything and figure out what they're trying to collect the bodies and sort them out later. They're like at a buffet. Here we go. Timestamp again. You go to the buffet. You just want to stack the plate and go, I don't give a shit what I got. I got the chicken finger. I'll sort it out later. That's how I am at a buffet, because I can't stand people that think they're setting up a plate for goddamn Gordon Ramsay when they're waiting. I'm going to put a little bit here. I'll put everything in the plate. I sort it out at the table, what I got. That's what Microsoft's doing. They're pulling me at a buffet. They're basically saying, let's just buy everything. Let's get all this IP, and then we'll figure it out later. What the fuck we're going to do with everything.
By the way, pay us $15 a month.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They'll pay us, and that's this thing comes up every month. They just went back at them, and this whole exclusive stuff. The last point I'll make on this exclusive stuff, where they're kind of saying that Sony blocked them out of Final Fantasy and all this stuff. Guess what? That is totally different than basically buying a whole publisher, because Microsoft, if it was about just bringing you exclusive games because Sony and Nintendo are doing it, they had done this already, and they don't have to buy the studios, the publishers, to do this. They could go make these deals. They could go outbid Sony and Nintendo, get these games to you, the gamers, the people that care the most. They could do this to you right now. Yeah. Instead, they're wasting your time with lawyers and documents because they don't care about you, the gamer. They care about their cloud and their back-end infrastructure. They don't care. They care about the business more than the customer. And that's why it grinds my gears. And that's why I can't stand this shit, because this is not about us. It's not, because if it was, Microsoft would just do the Tomb Raider deal. They would just say, hey, Call of Duty's, we're going to outbid Sony. Hey, let's get Titanfall 3, Titanfall 4. They stopped making Sunset Overdrive 2. They turned down Marvel when they approached them with Spider-Man.
They never made a Rise 2. They didn't do.
Never.
No, where's
Killer Instinct 2?
Quantum Break 2. Sam Lake said, I'll do it.
Yep. Killer Instinct. Where of all these franchises?
Ted Price tweeted a number of times, just waiting for Xbox's phone call.
They could do it.
Sunset
they could give you those games.
They don't want to do it.
But now you have, and know what's crazy, Mooch? You have Call of Duty already. What are we talking about here? So they buy Activision, so you still get Call of Duty? Like, it's not like you're getting a new game. You're getting the game that you've been getting.
That's the thing. That's what bothers me the most. First of all, you're not getting anything new from this at all. And now the offer even says that Sony can put it in their subscription service. So you can't even say, well, we're going to get it for $1. And Sony guys are like, so are we. So it's like, okay, fine. That's fine.
I hope not.
And then on top, no, absolutely not. But I also,
that's the death of it.
It's just, and the other thing is a lot of the people that are arguing for this to go through don't play Call of Duty. They
don't care. They just want the name of Microsoft on it, and it makes no sense. There's no win there.
Listen, you guys know week in and week out, I never ever sit here. You guys know this, right? Everyone on this panel's been on enough to know, and everybody in the chat knows me well enough. I never, since the acquisition, since Sony bought Bungie, or Sony, whatever, SIE bought Bungie or whatever, I never bring that up, because Destiny's still on Xbox. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, they got it. They did it. But they do. I mean, yes, they will be able to gain the experience and get some of the knowledge,
console wars,
right? But it's not. I never bring up Bungie. I never do. So it's the same thing when they get Activision. Why is everybody so excited about this on the Xbox side? Call of Duty's already on your console. It doesn't matter.
So they could. Yeah, they love the game so much that they don't want to buy it. They want to get it in Game Pass. How does that make sense?
Yeah,
they love Call of Duty so much that I don't. I love Bethesda games so much. Buy Bethesda so I don't have to buy your games. Who? What? Like, that's the logic. It's ridiculous. I don't understand where it comes from.
I thought it was interesting when they named a few first-party Sony games as being, held off of Xbox, like Bloodborne, and then they actually mentioned Astral Chain from Nintendo, which I don't know if people know this or not, but that's a first-party Nintendo game, even though it's developed by I forget the developer. Jeez, it's a really good game too. But what was also interesting is that Squanch Games is third-party, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, High on Life is a third-party game, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not exclusive right now?
Yeah, it's exclusive. Mm-hmm. It's on Steam and Xbox.
So who's paying for the exclusivity?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the problem with third-party exclusivity? It works, correct? It's the number one game in Game Pass in terms of single player.
That's right.
Doesn't paying for third-party exclusivity work?
Only
They did it with Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Only when Xbox
Microsoft
does
did
it.
Yeah, only when
So,
Xbox does.
I don't have a
Because-
problem with it.
What
because-
about Crossfire X? Who's asking for that one? That's a console exclusive Crossfire X.
And I
that
listened
was
to IGN. I listened to
That's exclusive.
IGN's review of what's coming to Xbox in 2023, and they continue to say Stalker 2 is an Xbox exclusive. It's going to be exclusive, I think, for 3 months.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and make those
go
deals.
for it. No, I say go
Like,
for it.
do it.
Go
Like,
for it. No,
like
I'm just,
you guys were saying.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like Sony owns Square Enix and they have all this influence. Like they have secrets from the, hiding pictures of, the executives doing something.
Listen,
They just have a relationship.
There's definitely
Well, they're saying that
something-
blocking them. That was the new thing that they're
Right,
saying
but I
that
mean,
might,
in,
there was
in terms of how do you block Square Enix? I mean, Square Enix.
exactly. It's a double-edged. Square Enix is signing that deal with Sony. Like, okay,
That's
Sony's like,
fine.
well, you know
What I
what? You
would do
can't
is
put
I
this
would
on an
say-
Xbox. They're like, yeah, sure, fine, we won't do it.
I would say, okay, what's Sony's offer? Okay, we're going
Exactly.
to times it. We're going to times it by 5,
If they really want it.
and then we can have the game. Instead, it's more about. I think, again, my opinion, it's more about control of a market versus creating something that gives you that control. It's about
Exactly.
buying the creativity versus creating it. That's what
Yeah.
I have a problem with when it comes to any subscription service, even PlayStation's. First off, PlayStation's a premium tier is ridiculous. It's terrible.
It is
Oh, that's
terrible.
The
horrible.
fact-
They're all
the
using
fact
old
that
ass
they
games.
don't have-
Yeah.
Like if you go on Nintendo's, they have NES and it's NES games.
Nintendo did it
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Super NES, N64.
Yep.
For them not to have a PS1, a PS2, a PS3 curated section is insane. If
It
they
is
do
nuts.
that and it's natively
Yeah.
and it's native downloads, it's over. It's absolutely over. It'd
Yeah.
be the one service that everyone will want.
And
fact
if they
that
did
they
the
don't have
PS3
that
native
thing.
download too, that's another thing
Yeah.
they need to do.
That's
The
what they
PS3
need.
native
It's absolutely insane. But I mean, it's more about. I just don't want these subscription services to lead to, our goal is just control versus our goal is creating something to bring people to us.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
No,
And then the game design starts changing to make the satisfaction for the system, or for the distribution model, than actually just making a game that they would want to sell. Like you even see with the marketing, like Microsoft marketing of games has gone down the tubes. Now they stealth drop stuff. They have exclusive. They don't even kind of have like an exclusive hype show or anything like that.
Well,
It's like just
can't
like
have, you
stealth
can't
drop.
have a hype. You can't hype one game when it's going into something
it.
that's built for a catalog of games.
Exactly. So
Everything
yeah, they
has
don't
to be
do
the
it.
same. Right,
And they're
everything has
making
to be
games
the same.
$70. So let's see. When Sony presents a $70 game, they build up to it and they kind of show you all the layers of the game. Microsoft says their games now have the quality that they're making them $70. Let's see how they
I
layer
miss
it.
those. I miss those Halo midnight launches, man. They were
Oh
huge.
my god, man, they're incredible.
I miss all midnight
Ugh.
launches.
Midnight Launch was the best.
They were great. They were great. It was,
GameStop
it
used
was
to
so
order pizza
exciting,
for us.
dude.
And waiting.
I used to love when we
Yeah.
got home in the 360 days. You put the disc in the 360, and then you saw all your friends when they got home after you just met them, right?
Yes,
and you're
it
we're all
lit
running
up,
back,
man.
right? And it lit up your
All lit
screen.
up.
It was just so much fun. I can't even put that into words. Shout out to Ham, by the way. Great to have him, Mooch Maniac family member. He says Xbox is going to be getting a lot of W's in 2023. We were saying that earlier in the show, Ham. Go back and check out the beginning. Jay actually did a great job of depicting what he was looking forward to, the W's that Xbox could get in 2023. Shout out to Babor Contra. He says, the so-called media is fanning the anti-PlayStation flames. Look at GameSpot hit piece on PSVR. Now IGN, Eurogamer, DualSense giving Halo a 9, Horizon Forbidden West an 8.8.
Halo and 9. Jesus.
He has
Yeah.
a point. He has a point.
He definitely
No,
has a
it is.
point, Jay. I've never
It's
seen
it's whatever
such a,
gets traction.
It was
whatever
literally
gets traction.
December.
It's
It was
social
Yeah,
media.
the clicks.
It was 15 or 20 minutes after the Game Awards in 2019 that everything shifted. I've never sat back and just watched it shift. It was like watching a big willow tree and the wind change directions. I was like, this is insane. It's unbelievable. I mean, you've even got IGN doing pieces right now. They're all like, oh my God, they're like 2023, the unbelievable the ability that Xbox has coming out the gate. And I'm like, geez, wow, what the hell?
Yeah, tell me when those games are coming out. When's Redfall coming out? When's Starfield?
Yeah,
Tell me
dude,
those games.
I think that it changed once everyone saw Phil Spencer's face at the Game Awards.
Dude,
Oh,
no,
That is
it's
like-
hilarious.
and he
well,
was
that
just
was
so
But see,
angry.
but Mooch, this is the thing that I also allude to too between the two of them. You look at this, that people say, what a great 2023. All you have is the same thing. You have less now of knowledge of when this games are coming out than you had before they got delayed. Like I said, you had season 4 Redfall. You had a specific date for Starfield.
Yeah.
Now you have the entire year of 2023. Let me tell you something. With Sony, if you have a console, the exclusives. You got Forspoken. You may not like them. You may like them, but you got Forspoken January. You got PSVR 2 with all their launch games in February. You got the Horizon DLC coming out a couple months after that. Then you got Final Fantasy.
Again?
What?
Well, so there's a rumor out right now that it's getting pushed back a month or two.
Well, whatever, it's getting pushed back.
But we don't even have a date.
Right now,
So we can't even say it's delayed from when.
What got delayed? What?
They're saying Redfall will be.
Oh, yeah, Redfall supposedly is getting delayed
How
again.
can it be delayed when we don't have a date?
I know the person that did the
or
report.
something
Is
like
it
that.
6 weeks or something like that, or no?
Yeah, and people are saying it's
So
going to come
6
out right
weeks.
around Zelda and get
They
destroyed.
said May. Yeah, it'll be pushed to May.
Nothing's going to come out around that time. There's
Yeah,
nobody
they
coming
can't.
out around
I
that
wouldn't
time.
be surprised if Microsoft stealth drops in Game Pass.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, you see with Sony, and then you got Final Fantasy 16 as an exclusive, and then you got later on the year Spider-Man in the fall. Like, you already have the roadmap for Sony for next year, and they're not the ones that have this service that's dependent on exclusive first-party games or exclusive games. Sony already laid down the roadmap already for next year, and that's of what we do know. And wherever factions comes in, Microsoft has you sitting there going, Redfall sometime 23, sometime Starfield 23, Stalker 2, who knows? Delayed indefinitely because all the stuff going on. But then you don't have any other games. When's Forza coming out? No clue. Were there any other games that weren't delayed that's supposed to be slated for next year?
Is
Microsoft never
Atomic Heart
talked
supposed
about
to be
them.
next year? Right?
Yeah,
What game?
Atomic Heart is next year.
Oh, and then Sony's even and Silent Hill 2. Sony's even has other games too, but I'm not even mentioning those.
And I think
What I'm saying is-
does Stellar Blade come out next year or no?
I don't know. That might be
Yes, it
24.
is. No, 23.
It is.
Oh, 23?
23,
Jesus. So, like, you already see Sony stacking the deck already with specific release dates, with
Yeah.
games that we've seen a lot of ready to go. We have a demo of one of them that you're showing right here. So, like, look at that confidence and roadmap. How the hell is Xbox? You're hyped for next year's Xbox with again, an ambiguous list of games that were delayed. And guess what? You never saw any more of them. Look at Halo. Halo got delayed from the launch date of the Series X. Nobody knew the release date of Halo until they stealth dropped the beta of the multiplayer on their 20th anniversary and said, Bootleg Joel's birthday is December 6th when we're going to play the campaign. That thing was in hiding because it was delayed for polish. You never saw the game the whole entire year of 21 until the end of the year when they decided to talk about it.
Yeah.
I hope the rumor about High on Life being the biggest single player launch in Game Pass history, I hope that isn't true because I see a lot of people talking about Square Enix games not coming to Xbox, and if that's true, Dragon Quest came to Game Pass. Dragon Quest is bigger in Japan than Final Fantasy.
Absolutely.
Persona
It's
5
bigger.
came
Yep.
to a Game Pass. So if High on Life beat both of those games in terms of single player engagement, then why would any of those Square Enix Final Fantasy games come to Game Pass?
Look at those
Yeah,
sales
absolutely.
ratios. Every week we see those sales ratios. They're like 80
Well,
to 20, and people
yeah,
are
it
like,
was
that's a goal.
I didn't see the actual number for this one, but I thought I saw some early percentages. But Final Fantasy Reunion, a Crisis Core, has been an absolute landslide. And Worry did videos on this. He's been saying it on Twitter for
Begging
months.
people to
He's like,
begging
if
people
you're
to
an
support that
Xbox
game.
fan, now's your time. Go buy the game. And they didn't. They did not. PlayStation 4 and 5 and Switch, and I think PlayStation has the most. It even beat out the Switch, I believe, in purchases. Xbox didn't even have a number next to it. Like they didn't buy the game. And you wonder,
Because-
and then they're like, well, Square doesn't like us. Well, I think you don't like them.
Well, no, Square. The
Mooch,
issue with
if it
Square
wasn't-
is
if it's not in Game Pass, they don't want it.
Yo, they were yelling at the
money
stray
that-
dudes to put their game in Game Pass.
I wanted to mention this about Square because it was brought up, and Worry, like I feel like on several episodes on Crossfire, always brings up the problem with specifically Square Enix games and not getting them like on their platform is because a lot of people don't buy the games, and then it's easier for Sony to like money had it to become an exclusive because there's not a huge install base. If they had like 3 million people buying their games, it would be a lot harder for Sony to make those games exclusive, and you have like a mil or less, it's way harder.
Yeah.
Well, the
Like,
argument though is people say, well, in Game Pass there's more engagement, or
Yeah.
they just say they want them in Game Pass. But again, let's go back to the High on Life story. If High on Life, in terms of you using Game Pass and playing a single player game, if High on Life is the biggest, most engaged game on the service from the users who use Game Pass, and it beat out Dragon Quest and Persona 5 and even Halo Infinite's single player, which dropped into Game Pass exclusively, if it beat all of those games out, why would Square Enix take a check from Microsoft to put those games in Game Pass? Because the check probably isn't as large as the one they're going to make by selling those games to everyone.
Yes.
Yep.
You're better off not taking the check from Game Pass and just having for sale across all platforms.
Yep.
I completely agree with that.
And then when your game starts to dry up, then you go put it into the subscription service.
Shout out
That
to Rice.
doubles
While
the
we have the panel really stirred up, Rice79, he goes, predictions on Starfield's actual launch date. I've got holiday probably 23. What do you guys think?
That's what I'm thinking. Holiday or fall of 23. It's coming the second half.
It's going to have to be the holiday because that's when Spider-Man's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what they're going to combat in Spider-Man with.
Yeah, I can't see Microsoft dropping
a big holiday game.
I can't see them wasting that in June or something like that in a summer game. I can't see them doing that.
The minute that Starfield was delayed out of 2022, I said on the show, I said it multiple times, I said, here's the deal. PlayStation is going to absolutely take, I said, and this is before we knew that they were going to have their stock. Their stock, right? They are absolutely taking off and peeling out right now on sales, because think about it. You have a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 bundle. You have a God of War Ragnarok bundle. Right there alone, you have got a tremendous amount, and PS5s are everywhere now. Now people can go out to the store, walk in, buy it, grab it, buy it, go home, play it. And my point being is that next year, you're going to have a Spider-Man 2 bundle.
Oof.
And I'm telling you,
Spider-Man is going to go crazy.
That stretch, that lead that PS4 had over the Xbox, that may not be the same exact ratio that we see this generation, but it's going to be close.
You might even have a PS5 Slim.
That new console.
Yeah, they're going to probably do something like that. I think PlayStation has to absolutely knock it out of the park when it comes to limited edition, like actually like having the plates done and all that, because they haven't been the best, and it feels like their best work is always in Japan. Like when it comes down to like Persona 5 Royal, like limited edition, Kingdom Hearts, all that stuff. And even in like the PS3 of Yakuza, it's insane that those designs are so good. And then when it comes to like in the US, the designs aren't that great.
Yeah, with the God of War bundle, they even put the panels in there with it.
Yeah.
Didn't Yakuza come to didn't the new Yakuza come to Game Pass too?
Yes, you're talking 7. 7 came, I think, I don't know how many months after it launched.
It was after it launched. It wasn't day and date.
And High on Life beat that too, right?
According to the reports.
Yeah, Yakuza. Yeah, and all the Yakuzas have been in there too.
So
but
all the Yakuzas have been in there.
The PS5 that I think Worry was saying, and then Red, you piggybacked off of, was the Slim edition, right? So that's Slim, which is basically going to be the digital, because you could buy the physical disc edition separately, right? Yeah. So you'll be able to buy the digital edition. It'll be compact, small. You
think it'd be cheaper? You think they're gonna be targeting $400 for it?
I mean, digital it is cheaper.
Absolutely.
It should.
The digital one
should be $400.
Oh, wait, the digital one now's $400. This is after cheaper components going to what, the 6 nanometer? I don't know what the hell they're going to, or the 5. I don't know. Whatever
so they'll basically make it
cheaper.
The 400. Yeah, they'll make the 400 price point for the PS5 next year.
Jazz, it could even be $350 if it's the digital.
Holy crap! No way. Then they'll really take off. No way. $350.
Well, why not?
Yeah, I don't. I think they're going to go.
We're talking about a whole other year.
400.
No, I think 400 is the right. If I'm gambling, I'm putting my money on 400
or 450.
But if we're playing if we're playing chance, I think you could see 350.
But what I'm saying is like that basically technically lowers the score, the price of the PS5, because now they said that this is going to replace both of their $500 and their $400 console. So basically, now it's a PS5 is on the shelves for $400. Go get it. Oh, if you want a disc drive, go get it for $70 or $80 or $100.
Maybe $50.
But now
for the disc
PlayStation
drive.
has, because remember that digital is really hard to find. Like the physical ones are the ones that are selling the $500 ones. But like if they're going to make this one the console because it's replacing both, then it's not replacing the digital. It's replacing both of them, according to the rumors. So basically, they're taking the price of the PS5 and turning it into $400.
Right.
It's a price.
I think honestly, yeah. The more we discuss it, the
If they
400,
do
the
it.
400 number sounds right. But what do you? So wait, J-Dub, what do you think as far as to answer Rice's question, which was awesome? When do you think we're going to see Starfield come out next year, Rice? Jay? Did I lose J-Dub? I might have lost J-Dub. Red, you got fall? Holiday, or are you thinking we're going to see summer?
I'm thinking November.
Holiday.
I'm thinking November.
Holiday,
full year delay, huh?
Yep.
I'm thinking so. I think like the problem a lot of people don't realize is that engine is so bad. It's literally being like duct taped and rubber band to like honestly be safe because that thing's gonna like get like it's insane like game creation engine, and I'm just like. Todd is always stuck with that engine for so many years, and I'm just like, they got to get a new engine at this point.
Look, they can't afford to have this game to come out buggy and glitchy. They can't. The stigma is already on them, and Microsoft can't. I mean, they need to get the game out, but at the same time, people listen. It's going to be brutal. If this game doesn't come out and live up to its expectation day one, it's going to be a wrap. People are going to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is their biggest game of next year.
Honestly, Todd, Jay, I think you even said it earlier. I think Todd, there's a lot of stress on Todd and his group for this to deliver because it is going to be on them to not only sell. This sells Game Pass, this sells consoles for them. This game's got a lot riding on it.
Yeah, I think the bulk of the sales will honestly though be kind of uplifted from Steam. If I'm going to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of everybody on
support
Xbox,
that's amazing. Yeah,
of course,
me too.
Downloaded from Game Pass, but everyone's going to be like on PC is going to just get it on Steam.
Pardon me to sound like everybody else on the internet, but I might just try it on Game Pass. If I like it, I'll buy it on Steam.
There you go. Try for it.
Because I think the mod community is what's going to save that. To be honest with you.
Yes.
They always do it every year. Fallout, the Elder Scrolls games like Morrowind, Oblivion, and
and that's the thing.
Skyrim.
There's two ways this thing's gonna go. If this game really is shown well and people like think this is the next coming of Todd Howard here, people just gonna buy the game, like because that's what they're doing. I think you guys were talking about it earlier. Like if it's a great game, people just gonna buy it. Like who's gonna say, well, I'm just gonna get a Game Pass? Game Pass is for the sus games. It's the games that you're like, I don't know if I want to buy it, but let me just play it in Game Pass. That's why games that are like on teeter-totter are the kind of the ones that show success in Game Pass because people don't want to spend $60 on,
look at the game, like the game that's on screen right now. I bought Diablo 3. Guys, this is going to really make you guys laugh. I bought Diablo 3 on Xbox, PlayStation. Get ready for this one. Mac.
That is something.
And PC. I have bought because I love Diablo, right? Love it. Love Diablo 3. Played it to death. I will buy Diablo 4. Like, I don't care if it ends up in Game Pass. Like, I will buy Diablo 4. Period. End of story. Period. I want to own that game. I don't want to just have a key to use a digital code every once in a blue moon. I like the idea that I like owning the games. I really do. And I remember, you go back to 2013, 2014, remember the uproar in the community? Digital games were not owning the games anymore. We wanted our physical discs. How dare you take them? Now, we're not even... Now the same people that were like, I want to own the games, now they're okay renting them.
I know. I just want to address something with X-Hawk says Starfield's on PC Game Pass. Yeah, but one thing, you don't know is that, well, maybe you do. You're just not acting like, it's in the App Store for Xbox in order to get it for PC Game Pass. You can't get it on Steam with PC Game Pass. So therefore, you have to go through the store and Microsoft Store. I don't know if it's going to support mods or how they're going to do it in their Windows 10 store, but I can tell you right now, that is not a famous place for people on PC to go to. They hate that store. That thing doesn't download your games. It is a mess, that whole Windows app and that Game Pass app. And you got to go through that in order to get it on Game Pass. Whereas Steam, you'll have Steam Workshop, you'll have the mod support day one, and that's where it's going to be on Steam. So it doesn't matter if it's in PC Game Pass because you got to go through that Windows Store. Let us compete. Yeah, they can't make an app store to save themselves. They're going to go compete against Apple and Google next. They're pie in the sky, dude.
Yeah,
PC Game Pass is good, but you got to go through that app store, and that's not where the mod support's going to be.
Right. No, I wonder if you start your game on your console,
unless they do it.
I wonder
unless they tie it into Steam mods. Maybe they partner with Steam and do it, but
they might. I don't know.
I don't know.
I bet it's not there day one.
No.
Well,
but Steam Workshop.
How long does it take for the mod community to get stuff out on a new game like that? 3 months, 6 months, week 2? I don't know.
Who knows? They'll be fixing it probably in the first day.
The first day they'll be
with
working
landing animations and everything like that.
Yeah, I know.
Who knows?
It'll be great.
But I don't know. Again, their mod support. I know they added some mod support with Master Chief, but it's definitely not as universal as how Steam just has it integrated.
Right.
And that's where the sales are going to be. If it's a great game, or most of the success of Starfield, whatever it is going to be on Steam. That's where you're going to see it. I don't think you're going to see it on so much on Xbox. I think you'll see a lot of people trying it out.
Yeah.
I think that the success story of Starfield will be how it does on Steam.
I agree. I really do. I think that's going to be its shining moment. The great Jimmy Harrison, he says, big shout out to Worry. Glad to see you here too, brother. Shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison. Appreciate that. I know he's not even home and he's listening to the show. It means a lot to me. And Rice79 comes back one last time. He says, people forgot about 360 when Microsoft bought time deals for almost every Western game on the market. Oblivion, Mass Effect, BioShock, etc., etc. So yeah, we were talking about
what about the GTA 4 DLC, Ballad of Gay Tony, and the Sons of Anarchy type DLC? Remember, those are exclusive only to GTA 4 on Xbox 360.
Yeah, no, shout out to Ham.
Exclusive expansion.
Ham says that's cap. Ham, I'll tell you the truth. A lot of people that me and you are friends with in the Xbox community actually told me how great it will be on Steam. It really, I think that Starfield will be a better experience. I believe. I think it'll be a better experience.
Hell yeah,
on Steam. I really do. I really think so. And
you think people are booting up that S? Get the hell out of here. That thing's gonna run like a turtle.
Yeah, I don't think it's that's the other thing too when we talk about all the numbers that are out there. It's interesting the 18 million reported for the Xbox Series consoles. I'd love to see how many are S's.
Oh, I would love to see it too.
I would love to know that number, and I would also love to know when these games start next year that are pumping out current gen consoles only games, just to see how that S handles it. It's going to be interesting. It's been basically all cross-gen games, whether it be even third party or not. Yeah,
I think we've seen it already. They dropped the price of that thing to $250, and then even with a gift card on top.
Yeah,
and they still didn't win ETH. They still did not beat NPD and OM. They came in third. And they were lower than the Switch, and they were lower than the PlayStation. And if that doesn't show you what the demand of the Series S is or Xbox itself, that's it right there, dude. They liquidated that goddamn Series S. That thing was liquidated 2 years later, $250 and a $50 gift card.
I was gonna say I saw it as cheap as $199 on Black Friday, I believe.
Yeah, dude, and it didn't even go into two or first.
The consumer is not as foolish as maybe some think. The consumer knows the next gen console is either the Xbox Series X or it's the PS5. I really think that the S is a half step. May have been a great little console to have for these past 2 or 3 years, right during the getting out of COVID and going into full production again.
Just to have something.
To have something. So good on Microsoft, I guess, to think that route. But to be honest with you, don't think you have a Series S in your house and you're good until 2030. I think you're going to be mistaken, and I think you're gonna miss out on certain things. I definitely recommend getting a Series X or a PS5. That's just my opinion.
See, Hamsolo got it. He said he got his the two. Dude, that was a great deal, dude. $250 with a $50 gift card.
With a $50 gift card. That's crazy.
That's Target.
Yeah, that's a deal.
But the fact that it didn't do NPDs like over there, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. That shows you where it was.
They didn't win. They did not win. PlayStation won the November NPD, which includes, of course, the Black Friday deals. Guys, outstanding show tonight. Wow, we went about 3 hours, and I kept my entire panel this whole time. This is so great. I'm so excited that everybody stayed, too. Well, because after 2 hours on a Friday night, there's always people that have, they have kids, they have this, they have things going on. And they're like, Mooch, I get all these messages at like 9:15, 9:30 Eastern time. They're like, I got to drop. I got to go. So everybody's still here. Just an amazing show. Guys, please hit the like button while you're going to. Still 330 strong after 3 hours. That means the world to me. And I know it's a holiday weekend, guys. So thank you so much for the super chats. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the year. Like I said, I'm still planning to do a show next week. I'll let you guys know on Twitter well ahead of time if something comes up, but I'm totally planning on it. But I want to say thanks to everybody. I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody, Happy Holidays.
Yeah, same here, man.
Absolutely. But Jez, you and Worry actually it was tied. Jez, go ahead and give your sign off, buddy. I want to say thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Of course, Happy Holidays to you and your family. And great contributions to the show tonight. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the invite, man. Yeah, this is awesome. And shout out to the panel. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah, this was an awesome show. Hey, everybody, hit that like button. You can follow me over on Gaming Grindhouse, Jez7780. I'll put the link in the chat. Also, I just did speaking of the Series S, I just did my second poem of the night before the Series S. I had done one a couple of years ago of the night before the Series X. Everybody seems to like it. I'll probably pull it out of the show, but I have the show here, and actually I'll put the link there. But yeah, it was a wonderful poem about you'll find out about Phil Spencer trying to get some of that overstock under your Christmas tree. No, and don't go to Olive Garden. Bread. No Olive Garden. But yeah, follow me over there. And definitely,
you know what? I'm coming up to New York. We're going to Olive Garden with Mooch.
Hell no, I don't. Not even the Times Square one. Get the hell out of here. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're going to Times Square Olive Garden.
No bullshit. That's like the yeah. So yeah, follow me over there and Jez7780 on Twitter. But yeah, happy holidays, everybody. Shout out to the panel. Awesome show. It's always a blast here. And yeah. Shout out to everybody here and Mooch and everybody. Happy holidays.
Appreciate that. Worry, I know you're still kind of remotely calling in right now. I want to say thanks for being here, Worry. I know that you're on the clock. You're doing some great things. Looking forward. I'm looking forward to 2023. I can't say why, but I'm looking forward to 2023 with the Great Worry Wart. But we'll disclose that later. But the Great Worry Wart. Let them know where they can find you, buddy. And as always, please keep streaming. Please making videos. Because I love how you're making sense, and it's just refreshing to hear. So, and also, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to your family and you.
Thank you. First off, shout out to Jimmy Harrison, always a great guy in my comment section.
Yes.
And he asked me if I was going to be here tonight, and I am a little bit late, but you can find me on Twitter at the WoolleyGamer Gamer, YouTube, the WoolleyGamer Gamer, mostly just retro and just video games in general. Not so much Xbox versus PlayStation versus Xbox. So not that entertaining as far as what the panel had tonight, but I appreciate being here. And for the 482 subscribers, I have 483, and the same person keeps unsubscribing and then resubscribing and then unsubscribing and then resubscribing. So for the last week, I've had 483, 42, 483, 482, whoever you
that's
are.
How it goes. I know it's crazy. I remember watching. Like, you watch it go. Oh, like, what's going on?
Oh,
what did
no,
I say? What did I say?
I just find it funny. I know. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate it a lot.
Always Worry. Thanks for being here, buddy. The great Red Hood 420, who's with us too. Red, awesome to have you with us tonight, bro. I know that you generally do RGT right before our show. Shout out to the great you, BitCloud, Blaze, Hunter. You guys do a great show, but buddy, I really love your enthusiasm, love your knowledge in gaming, love what you're doing on Twitch. I'm still doing Twitch stuff. You're still doing Twitch stuff. We didn't make the change over to YouTube yet, so I'm going to stick with Twitch. I think you will too. I hope you do.
Yeah.
But Red, let them know where they can find you everywhere. Again, same to you and your family. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it, Mooch. Great episode, great panel discussion, and hopefully I can be on again. I always love this podcast. It's always great to hear actually different sides and seeing people also come together at points where at the end of the day, it's all entertainment.
Absolutely.
No one should take this seriously.
No,
but yeah, I noticed some people do, and it's just you guys gotta chill. But overall, like I said, check out me, BitCloud, Blaze, and Hunter at RGT at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. I don't know if we'll have one by the end of this year. Probably not. We'll probably come back in January. But also check me out on Twitch at RedHood420 and Twitter at RedHood240. Still working on some stuff on YouTube in terms of Death Stranding content, so that'll also happen on my YouTube. on Red Hood 420 as well. Appreciate people coming through. Make sure to like and subscribe for Mooch's channel.
Thank you, buddy.
Peace.
Much appreciated, Red Hood. Thank you so much, buddy. And then, of course, the great J-Dub City. Jay, I know you've got family over. And, first of all, I want to say, please be careful. Take care. I know that, Jay, Texas does not get New York weather, but you are getting New York weather. So I just want to say, please be careful. I know that, and it's funny because us up here, and Jay, you know this. You've been to the North plenty yourself.
Or the North Face.
Yeah.
Listen,
freezing, dude.
It's freezing here, but we get it cold, we get ice, we get snow, and we're kind of like, all right, we just like, so we still going out? We're still going to go do it. But I have my friends and people I know that are in the South, and if there's 2 inches of snow or it dips below 32, shit just closes down. So I just want to say, man, be careful out there. Glad you're here with us tonight. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to you and your family. And let people know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter. You guys know what it is. JW3016. Probably the beginning of the year, I'll start back doing content on my YouTube channel.
Yes.
But you guys can definitely find me on Twitter, man. Cracking jokes, putting out some crazy tweets, just having fun. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. I hope you get everything you want, and just stay warm and be blessed.
Yo, thank you, Jay. Shout out to Ham, by the way. He says it's -2 with -28 wind chill right now. It is cold right now. We're getting that deep freeze up from Canada. Our brothers and sisters from Canada are pushing that cold down onto the States.
Keep it.
Right, keep it. Shout out to WoolleyGamer. He says Worry Ward is brilliant. One of my favorite YouTubers. That makes 2 of us, Wooly.
That's right.
Completely agree with that. Yeah, Ham goes, it's past freezing. It's way past freezing. And of course, BRAP, I didn't even catch it. So I don't know if this is just a typo, but you're Santa BRAP, but you're technically Stanta BRAP.
Saw that too.
So I'm going to go ahead and just say that that's funny and it was done deliberate. But BRAP, again, same to you. We speak all the time, game a lot. I got to tell you, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year to you and your family as well. Thanks for being here, BRAP. Let people know where they can find you.
Well, yeah, actually, Santa BRAP was done on purpose.
Oh.
Because of the console wars, they say you're a stan.
I was going to say, BRAP never spells things wrong. I mean, he's usually on top of that.
I was waiting for someone to pick up on that, but no one did.
I saw it an hour ago, and I was like, at this point, it is what it is.
I figured you couldn't spell because you go to Olive Garden.
The breadsticks and the cheap wine.
Shit.
Yeah, so
I got something for Olive Garden.
Yeah, it's so great. Oh, the sound effect.
There's that Olive Garden right there.
What was that?
That was Olive Garden right there. That's what happened.
Jeez.
I was surprised. I was waiting for someone to be like the stan, because that's always the thing. Oh, you're just a stan.
I know who used that too. Yeah, the stands. Like, where's that from?
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say capping BRAP, but that didn't sound good. So I did stand up BRAP because of the stands. Like everyone's like, oh, you're just a stan.
I love it. No, great stuff,
yeah.
BRAP.
No, but yeah, great show. And look, happy holidays to everyone, and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, look, enjoy playing video games.
Yeah. Honestly, guys, if you got time from work, I want to say, I'll just piggyback that real quick.
Yeah,
if you got time right now and you get a chance, I mean, some people don't. Some people have to work across the holidays. I spent many a decades where the holidays was when I had to work. It was the bread and butter. I had to be out there working, and I didn't get that. If you're older, you get a chance to take some time off, or your job allows you to have the week off between Christmas and New Year's. Go tackle that backlog or beat that game that just came out recently that you bought and you've been looking at it and it's still in the cellophane wrap. Take it out, play the game, and enjoy yourselves, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, which I just want to say something real quick.
Please.
Is Crossfire gonna be back next Friday? Yes, maybe.
Right now, yes, absolutely.
Let's do it. We need to have year-end Crossfire with Phil Spencer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get a hold of him right now.
Yeah, and Jim Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem.
And quality split Herman Holtz.
and the CEO of Olive Garden.
Yes,
Jeez, man, got the connects.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no holds barred for next week.
Tell Herman to get off his yacht.
Mooch, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm coming to New York
Yes.
And I'm taking you guys to Olive Garden.
You know, listen, I got news for you. I won't eat anything, but I'll definitely run a liquor tab up on you there for no problem.
I'll play drums with the breadsticks.
I'll take your finest scotch. Oh, it's probably.
I'll take you.
You could drink their wine or AKA grape juice.
I'll be lucky if it's a Johnny Red Label, right? We'll be lucky.
Oh my God.
Hey, Jez.
What?
You know, BRAP would be like, yeah, I'll take a bottle of your finest Reuniti.
God, it says, yo,
I'll take
you go into Olive Garden and say, give me a bottle of your finest wine. It comes out, it says Welch's on it. Get the fuck out of here with that thing.
Yeah,
It says Welch.
Oh,
Grape juice.
I'll take a 2019 Chianti.
Yeah, Chianti. Yeah, they give you a Chianti. They're like, yeah, I think I got a guy named Chianti working in the back in the kitchen. He comes out and says,
Nah,
Oh man,
Chianti.
Oh great.
Little Italy.
Dude,
Little
Olive
Italy.
Garden.
After
Oh
that.
my God.
Shout out to Ryan Landis. He says,
lines.
Mooch Pass. Absolutely, guys. Guys, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the holiday with your family. Have a couple of drinks. Eat things you're not supposed to.
What is Mooch Pass? What is that?
Oh, remember we had it on the show a while back. It's my version of Game Pass. I can't remember what it was, though. It was like 2 months ago.
It includes wine and video
Wine,
games.
yeah, unlimited breadsticks, sure.
And little whiskey.
Why not?
Italian tacos. I don't know what those are.
The show,
Yeah.
the pan, but the chat's getting hungry, or maybe I am.
Dude.
I mean,
I got to go
might
find
be.
those Italian tacos because I remember seeing Italian tacos on the menu at Outback. At Olive Garden.
Are you
Dude,
serious?
there was some whacked ass shit there.
Italian.
I didn't
I've never
see
heard
that.
of Italian tacos.
I've
See,
never heard of it either.
so my and it was funny because I went to yes, there were tacos on the menu at friggin' Olive Garden. You want to know why I remember this? Because it was a gift to me because they saw I was Italian, so they thought I like Italian food. So my wife's side, her aunt or someone gave me an Olive Garden thing, and I'm like, dude, I don't eat Olive Garden. I've never been to an Olive Garden. That was like
Is your wife
sacrilege.
Italian or no?
No. But they knew I was
Oh.
Italian. They think I like Olive
Okay.
Garden. See how we got to the conversation? And there were tacos there. There were tacos in Olive Garden.
Wait, what?
There are
Jez,
tacos. I'm looking up the goddamn menu right now.
No,
There-
Jez,
there are
I-
tacos.
It's funny. I'm Latino, and I like people think like that I like tacos, like that I'm Mexican. I'm like, I'm not Mexican. Like
Oh, see, my wife's half Mexican,
it's
so I
not-
love
it's
that.
not-
food.
it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
I
automatic.
love authentic shit. I
Yeah,
love
me
authentic.
too.
I like authentic Spanish food, but Spanish food is not Mexican food. There's a
No, it's
difference.
not. No, it's not. I know. Yeah, my her side's all Mexican, so yeah, I know the difference. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah. So
I know. Yeah, I'm looking up that menu right now. There's got to be friggin' tacos on this goddamn thing. I'm telling you.
Why
you
wouldn't
sure?
there be?
I thought
They probably have a cheeseburger on
I
the
mean,
menu.
there might have been. You said
Yeah, right
cheeseburger.
there.
They probably put a cheeseburger on
Italian
there.
tacos.
This
Dude,
garlic
this
cheeseburger.
This Italian is a.
Like, they just throw red sauce on everything. It's Italian.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, what's the,
It's a hamburger with marinara.
it's Italian
French
burger.
fries. Marinara, it's Italian.
They put-
Italian French fries. Throw the sauce on everything. They
It's
put the
right
sauce on
there.
everything.
They put Boston goal.
Oh,
Put
shit.
some goal
Oh
on
my
that.
god.
Put some Boston goal on the hamburger.
Yeah.
Oh my
great.
goodness.
He's got the big tub of Monod sauce, and they're like, yeah, just put in some. It's Italian burger, Italian French fries.
It's great, guys.
Oh my god.
Well, listen,
That's
I don't know about you
great,
guys.
man.
I'm gonna
Many
go.
tacos.
I'm gonna go cook something. I'm starving to death. I'm gonna let these guys
Yo,
go.
I'm doing the 7 fishes, man. I was cooking that. I got
That's
to cook the
right.
smelts tomorrow.
The smelts, please.
Yeah.
Everyone
What
always
is it? What
ignores
is it
the
called? The seven
The
fishes?
se-
What is
seven
that?
fishes.
7 fishes, man.
What
We
is
do
that?
it for
What is that?
Italian.
It's a
You eat
What
like
is that?
Italian
it's a-
tradition.
Italian tradition.
Every
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, you eat just fish.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, you can
Oh,
eat. I
really?
mean, we also
Fish-
have like super salad. We have cheese. We have things like
Is
that.
it
But I'm
garlic
saying,
bread?
Yeah.
no, it's not garlic bread. There's no. The only
Nah,
garlic
you did-
involved is if it's in the pan with the oil.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no garlic spread.
There's no God. We don't
I think.
garlic
Look,
bread.
I have to come to New York for Christmas. By the way,
Buddy, you got to come to New
Because,
York. Period.
Dude.
seven fishes sounds
It's
good.
not
by
like
the
you're
way.
that
It's
far
not
away,
good.
dude.
Buddy.
You were in Washington. Like, it's not that far.
It's not
like
far.
I'm like
It's 5
4
hours.
He's like,
hours away.
4 or 5 hours.
Dude, he's acting like he's in the other Washington, over
no,
where Phil Spencer is,
he's
over
over
the
with
goddamn.
Phil.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, not that Washington. I
not
wouldn't
that
be there.
Washington.
That Washington, they're like, we only have lattes for Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
And they would do it.
and
Oh,
brunch.
come on.
And brunch.
Oh.
And brunch.
Don't forget about brunch, guys. It's very important, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
they got mimosas
Oh.
every Sunday at 343. Go
Oh,
check them
that's
out.
right.
I would work there though. I would definitely work there.
Of
I
course
would.
we
Yeah,
would
they're-
work there.
Yo, hands off, man. They leave me alone. It's like Booty comes up to you, say, "Where are the games?" You're like, "Get back in your car. I'm on my break, bitch."
God, I'm on my break.
Okay. I don't want to get in the way. It's okay. We'll delay it. Don't worry about it. You just get your break.
You go get your break and get your sandwich. All right, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Great stuff, guys. Great. I'm going to end the show right here. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your holiday. Have fun with everybody. Eat good food. Drink good wine. And we'll see you guys next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace out and good night.